Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Smoke Lounge Wednesday night panels. We're going to be discussing defensive coordinators, talk about a little about the draft, and maybe a little salary cap talk when we come back in a few minutes. So hang on tight. We're coming back in about a couple of minutes.
New seasons, new gear. Show the world what it means to be a fan in 100% authentic gear. Fanatics. Officially licensed everything.
Get ready to dive into a new world of online shopping with the Fins Tailgate. Whether you're a die-hard sports fan or just looking for the latest fashion trends, we've got you covered. With a wide variety of products from your favorite sports teams to stylish accessories and home decor, we're your one-stop shop for all things tailgate. Our easy-to-use website and hassle-free checkout process makes shopping with us a breeze. Plus, with frequent sales and discounts, you won't want to shop anywhere else. So come on in and join the party at the Fins Tailgate, your new go-to destination for all things tailgate.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? How y'all doing, man? Welcome back to another edition of Smoke Lounge. And yo, Crypto, you got the link, bro. So if you want to come on up, man. We got John Featherland in the building, Aquavision. Fins up 74. What's up? Rafael Courtright, Dímelo hermano. What's going on? Mark, what's up? How you doing, my man? Ryan AP, what's up? My man Michael K, what is going on? Daniel Berry Sports, and that's it for now. But I'm doing some. I did a little bit of research on these candidates, and obviously, we already know what we're going to get with the veterans. You have Frazier, Mark Jones. What's going on, Mark Jones? We have Frazier. We have the former Chargers head coach, And now we just want to talk about the three. I'm just talking about the three assistants that are coming to the Miami Dolphins. We'll start with Anthony Weaver. He started coaching at one of the best universities out there, Florida, in 2010 as a grad assistant. Then he went to North Texas as a linebackers coach. New York Jets, 2012 as a defensive line assistant. Buffalo Bills, 2013 as a defensive lines coach. Then he went to the Cleveland Browns, 2014 to 2015 as a defensive line coach, which coincidentally, that's where McDaniel and the linebackers coach for the from my understanding, Babich and Mike McDaniel kind of had intertwinings there. Then after the Cleveland Browns, Houston Texans as a defensive line coach. 2020 defensive coordinator and defensive line coach. So he has some experience under his belt. Unfortunately, that was the team that was kind of decimated after the firing of Bill O'Brien. Then Ravens 2021 was a defensive line coach and run game coordinator. And right now he is the associated head coach and defensive line coach. So this guy has Leslie Frazier. Yeah. Jimmy Raycart. We should hire Leslie Frazier. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I like the hire for Leslie Frazier, but here's the thing though. What happens if we run into the same issue as Fangio, where he's stuck in his ways? He's going to be thrusted with, is he going to bring his coaching staff with him? Or is he going to be thrusted with, the coaches that already had? Because you know what? I was listening to a lot of people, and one thing somebody brought up was the fact that Vic Fangio, outside the safeties coach, really didn't bring in the staff. He was kind of like, all right, this is the coaching staff you're going to have. And he really didn't have a rapport with these guys. He didn't know them pretty much well, you know? So you got to remember that Anthony Campanelli, Austin Clark were holdovers from Brian Flores. So Leslie Frazier, I don't know. See, you know what's funny is, again, one of the reasons why Crypto and I would get along so well is because we're around the same age demographic. So we have some kind of dynamic understanding. You know what I mean? We kind of had the same childhood, different areas, but you know what I mean, as far as pop culture and what was going on and things of that nature. And if you look at the coaching staff, look at the Rams. When Rams got their coaching, they got Wade Phillips. Then eventually they got a younger coach in the guy who last name was always confused for the running back. You know what I'm talking about?
Talking about the Rams?
Staley, yeah. Then he
Brandon
hired
Staley.
Staley. Yeah. So I mean, I think one of the reasons that the Chiefs have a great dynamic is because you got two old school coaches, one on the defense and one on the offense. I remember So they were able to kind of like get along better, you know? I think it's easier for an older guy to have a younger coach than a younger head coach, to have an older coordinator. I don't know. I think it seems weird, the dynamic. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's harder for like an older guy to be told what to do from a 20-year-old that you know what I mean, as hasn't been even coaching. You've been coaching longer than he's been alive. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that's just my take. What do you think about that? Old coach.
I don't know. Let's say the old, because sometimes if you're a young person with the old soul, you can adapt to it. The players have to be the ones that adjust to it. But some players have what I call an old soul, mentality, where they're more mature than the actual
What's
calendar
up, Papa
age
Paul?
is. So I think, if you had the personnel, they can adjust to any coach. Some of the personnel can't. Right.
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah, some of the personnel can't adjust. Some of the personnel can. They don't care who comes in the door. They're gonna make it work. Be on time, prepare, give them the drive. Have that will to win. So, you know, a lot of the new generation gets a lot of flack about being soft or being not able to adjust to old school methodology, but I would say not all of them are like that. Some of them can adjust to the old coaching style and keep it rolling, you know, because of how they was raised, how they grew up.
Yeah,
So they could take the tough love,
yeah.
Not all of the new school young players are fit that stereotype.
Well,
There are
Baltimore
some that
Ravens.
they'll discipline themselves and be hard on themselves more so the coach will. So the coach don't have to, be that way,
Well,
even if they are that way.
I'm looking at Anthony Weaver's. He has a pretty good resume, but now that their linebacker is going to
Be promoted.
Seattle. He's going to Seattle now. The defensive coordinator is going to be the
To
head
be
coach
with
in
his head
Seattle.
coach.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
It's weird because they
what?
will be on a third defensive coordinator in 3 years. So a lot of people think about how we changed and
Mm-hmm.
overcome. This
Yeah.
will be their third defensive coordinator in the same amount of years. But yet they made it work on defense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
They
I'm
still was
thinking.
able to have that kind of turnover and still, still be good.
Yeah, I'm thinking Anthony Weaver's out.
It's all about the personnel.
Yeah.
Stay keep drafting them in that mold. You could plug and play them coordinators. It may take them 2-3 weeks to get it off, to get it right, but then eventually
Mm-hmm.
they start gelling out in week 5. You know,
Yeah.
it's Cleveland, Baltimore, the Jets, the Patriots, the Chiefs. They were all top of the league in total defense. You know, Spagnoli, I think, is the only one. Well, I guess you could say McDermott. He took over the play calling duties for Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
That was this consistent one as far as been there for the whole time. Robert Saleh and the Jets, you could say, well, this is their second year. But coordinators have been turning over left and right, especially with these head coaching jobs coming open.
Yeah. What's funny is
So
Seattle now they went with Baltimore's coach. So I wonder if, like I said, Anthony Weaver is going to go there. But let's look at the next candidate, which is Anthony Campanelli. Anthony Campanelli, he started in 2006 as a linebackers coach for Fair Lawn High School in New Jersey. 2006. Fair Lawn. The hell kind of okay, whatever. Then then Don Bosco Prep in New Jersey. Sounds like a made man.
Yeah.
From 2007 to 2009. Then as an offensive coordinator for Don Bosco Prep from 2010 to 2011. Then he was in Rutgers as a defensive assistant from 2012 to 2013. After that, he was the tight ends coach from 2013 to 2014 in Rutgers. And Rutgers, he went to the wide receivers coach 2015. Then he went to Boston College from 2016 to 2007 as a defensive backs coach. Then, he was in Boston College as a co-defensive coordinator and defensive backs coach. In 2019,
coordinator.
Michigan as the linebackers coach, and of course, he's the linebackers coach now. So, damn, prior to this, he had no, prior to coming to the Miami, he
Defensive
had no
play
NFL
calling.
experience.
Right, no defensive play calling.
Yeah. No, he coached a little offense. He was a co-defensive coordinator, which, wink, wink. So
thinking the route we must take, co-defensive coordinator.
Yeah, co-defensive coordinator, and I'll tell you what,
hire
Lucas,
him and then turn around hours
Lucas,
later.
that was one of Jamie Ricker, you grew up in Fair Lawn. How is that school? Is that a good school? What kind of school that is, Jamie Raycard? I really want to know. But yeah, man. He was. Remember, he's a Brian Flores hire. Never forget that. So he was hired in 2020 to be the linebackers coach, and he's still here.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the other offensive line. See, Anthony Campanelli. You know, he's more of a known name because of Hard Knocks, right? And that's where he kind of got his name. Not to mention, it's cool to say Anthony Campanelli. I think that was a pretty cool name. But now Ryan Slowick
is definitely a good name.
Ryan Slowick, which I found out his brother is Bobby Slowick he's the offensive coordinator from Houston, and I'm still looking for that. But they said his brother is the general scout for the 49ers, and his dad was one time a defensive coordinator. So if you think about it, a lot of them came from his Bobby Slowick, I think, he came from the 49ers. His brother was the scout for the 49ers. So not only and I'm about to read off his resume, even before reading his resume, he's kind of royal. Hey, what's up, Dolphin Thirsty? What's going on, my brother? Good to see you, my brother. Same here. You rock too, bro.
Are you saying the Dolphins are thirsty?
Yes, the Dolphins are thirsty. They need to drink more water. But no.
Yeah, are they thirsty for a playoff appearance or
no a playoff win? We got
Super Bowl win.
I wish
playoff
we can.
win. What is the steps? What is our baby step program? You know how they have the 2-step program? What is our program?
So here we go. This is Ryan Slowick. And like Color would say, it's not a football name, Ryan Slowick. more of a hockey
Oh,
name or
yeah,
a
that's what I was gonna say. A freaking Olympian, for a Winter Olympian.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
this guy was
Ice
he
skater.
won the he runs the bronze medal in the ski jump.
Yeah, Blobby Ryan Slowick. Yeah, yeah. It
Yeah, he
does
won
sound
the
like a
ski
ski
jump.
name.
Exactly, he's a ski jump. He won the gold medal in the ski jump
Yeah,
from Norway.
yeah.
There you
Ryan
go.
Slowick. But anyway,
The Norwegian.
all right. So he started his he started in Green Bay in 2003 as a personnel intern with Green Bay
Mhm,
Packers. Then Wisconsin Oshkosh as an assistant secondary coach.
mhm,
Then he went to the Denver Broncos, just like our head coach, as a
mhm,
defensive assistant special teams, and defensive and assistant defensive backs coach. Then he went to the Arizona Cardinals from 2009 and 2014 as a defensive quality control coach, outside
mhm,
linebackers coach, and defensive assistant defense backs coach from 2013 to 2014. The New York Jets, he was an assistant defensive line coach. And then Cleveland, he was an outside linebackers coach. Tennessee, defensive assistant.
mhm,
Then he went back to the Webb School of Knoxville. No, he didn't went there.
mhm,
I'm sorry. He went to the Webb School of Knoxville 2019 as an assistant coach. And then
mhm,
now 2022 senior defensive assistant and outside linebackers coach. So
mhm,
I'm thinking there's maybe yeah, there has to be a connection because both the
mhm.
brothers are with the San Francisco organization, except for him.
Okay,
So he's like, hey,
that's interesting. Mm.
yeah,
The Lucas,
you think you can give
I'll
my
answer
brother a
you.
job?
I
What'd
can
you say?
answer Lucas' question. No,
Sure.
he asked me a question in a chat about jumping ship. I haven't thought about it because they don't care about us. From a franchise standpoint, I would say this because of the 40 plus years of being a fan. Um, since '85, I thought we was going to be going to Super Bowls year in and year out. We all know because of who gave us that hope and who
Yeah.
was the real reason why we had that hope since '85. Um, I would say I always wonder what it would be like if I was to jump ship, and then all of a sudden the Dolphins do start winning titles.
Hey, maybe
I've
that'll be
always
good
thought
for you.
about that.
Yeah, me
And
too.
I thought about that, Lucas. What if I was to jump ship and then they reel off 10 Super Bowls in a row? That
Yeah,
was the fear that I did have. So I'm kind of like I'm a prisoner of my own mind, kind of like how you feel entrapped. It's kind of like how you get stuck in a dream, but you wake up and you're still in the dream. Like you thought up, it's kind of like you're double dreaming. You wake up from a bad dream, but you're still in a dream. You just wake
yeah,
up and you wake it up into another dream. If that's the feeling I have, like damn, can I ever wake up out of this? That's the feeling I have as far as if I was to go to another franchise and be a fan of another franchise, you know.
yeah. I don't think I
So
could
yeah, I'll
do
be
that
like,
now.
I don't. At this point, it's like a point of no return.
Yeah, pretty
If I
much.
was to do that, I got that superstition in me that I know for a fact that this franchise finally gonna get it together if I jump ship. I just can't do
Hmm.
it. I gotta hold
No,
on for the dear life.
yeah.
That's what it is.
It's like with my
Yeah.
girlfriend. If I leave her, she might find a rich man and be happy. I don't want that for
Right.
her. No,
Yeah. Yeah, but
no,
damn, I
but no,
thought
yeah.
about it. It would be what team if I was to just contemplate what team would be the candidate. But actually before I even became a Dolphins fan, I would have most likely have been a Packers fan if I wasn't a Bears fan, being growing up in
Hmm.
that area. So that probably would I would be a cheesehead if I was if Dan Marino was never in my life, I probably would have been a Packers fan. That's probably would have been the team that I would have went to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No, I'm a default. My fandom is on default.
Right.
Everything Miami except for that team in Coral Gables.
Oh yeah? Who's that? I
Yeah,
don't know who that is.
me neither. I'm a Heat, Florida Panthers, um, Heat, Florida Panthers, Miami, Florida Marlins, and of course the Florida Gators. Those are my.
And then the Hurricanes. Congratulations, for finally,
Yeah, go Gators,
jumping on
Dolphin
board.
Thirsty. The
Jumping on
Hurricanes.
finally
I'm
shake
not, no.
money.
I said the Florida Panthers, not the Hurricanes. The Colorado was it?
Oh, that's a
Hey,
sad state of affairs if you're not a Hurricane fan by now. I thought maybe you've
yeah.
you've crossed the river. You've crossed the,
So, but out of those three candidates, which hey, I want to hear in the chat, please. You want to chime in too. Out of the three names that I mentioned,
three names.
which one do you think intrigues you the most, and why?
I'll be honest. I really haven't did the serious deep dive. I mean, I know in general about the Fraziers of the world and the, you know,
No, I'm talking about
the other defense.
just the three that I just mentioned.
I think we should hire a college coach. To be honest with you,
A college coach?
that's just me. I'm going outside the box. I
Yeah,
think
which
we should
one?
go deep down and get Rex
Nick
Ryan's
Saban.
disciples.
Nick
Yes.
Saban.
Yeah, go get a college coach. You know what I'm saying? What's the difference? We don't need no veteran.
So, well, if you get listen, so if you're by the way,
Hey,
the 23 is this is Ronnie Brown, by the way, Dolphins Thirsty. So if you want a college coach, you might as well hire Anthony Campanelli because like I said, according to this, where this
right? He doesn't
he was
have
at listen,
a deep
he was at
history, right?
Rutgers, Boston College, Michigan. Look, and the good thing about Anthony Campanelli, here's and listen to me carefully, and never forget
Yeah.
the good thing about Anthony Campanelli. Two things. One, he's familiar with the Brian Flores defense. And two, he's familiar with the Josh Boyer defense. So
Uh-huh.
here's a guy
Right.
who is familiar with both. And he's a good motivator. And so we'll see, man. Not to mention, like you said, he's a young guy. I think him and he's a fairly young guy. Let me see, how old is he? According to this, Anthony Campanelli he's 40 years old. He's 41. Sorry, 41. He was born August 18th, 1982. So he was 41. And so, I mean, I think, yeah, I like performing. So I think he'll be a better hire within. You want Craig Sebring? Yeah, yeah. I understand. We're just talking about the three candidates right now, and unfortunately, the guy from Baltimore, being that the Baltimore defensive line, they lost their defensive coordinator. I could see him being promoted to Anthony Weaver. I could see him being promoted. What's up, X Factor? Yeah, I could see. By the way, what about Weaver? I could see Weaver being promoted to the defensive coordinator for the Ravens. That son of a bitch with fucking. Listen, every draft pick we wanted, Baltimore gets it before we do, right? Now, it would be fitting if that's the coach the
That's
Dolphins
true.
want, and that son of a bitch organization takes him because we want him. So,
That's true.
You know what I mean? Oh man, I don't know why there's such bad blood between the two of us, Baltimore and Miami. Because last year, like I said, last year, Harbaugh tried to run up the score on us last year, but it bit him in the ass, and that's why we had a comeback. As a matter of fact, what's funny is Dan Campbell should have been watching that game.
That's
because
true. Yeah.
Dan Campbell.
Yeah, he should have.
Because that's the reason they fucking lost the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, trying to run up the score. So he's just taking the points. Yep. He should have took a lesson from that game against us. Yep. Take the points when you can. Your field goal kicker is an asset. Don't go through this analytics crap. It's kind of like an NBA game, right? Team runs out 10 points in a row with you. Only thing it takes is just one layup to stop their momentum. And you never know that 2-point layup will be the difference in the score at the end of the game. You know what I'm saying? Just get a basket. Just get the 3 points right back immediately. You reset the game back to 17-point deficit. They would have never caught them. Because the way the game was being played.
Yeah.
They would have always been ahead.
Shout out to El Capitan in the building. What's going on? We miss you over here. Hopefully, I hope everything is going well with you, my brother. We'll hold it down. Right, Crypto? And by the way,
yep.
This Sunday morning at 3:00, the Insomnia will be with Stephen D. Stephen D is our special guest of Insomnia. Come check it out. Yeah, you've been listening. Thank you.
We'll be previewing the Super Bowl and the matchups in the Pro Bowl. The flag football game.
Well, actually, we'll be doing the Pro Bowl, the Super Bowl after that, but we're going to be doing the quarterback carousel. Which teams need a quarterback?
Yeah.
We
can get it. We can get our picks on record, for the next 2 weeks.
And listen, we're going to talk about flag football. We're going to talk about flag basketball, flag hockey, flag tennis, flag boxing.
Flag boxing. Goodness, I wonder what that'll look like.
And flag volleyball.
Flag volleyball. Damn, flag tennis. Man, I wonder what that look like.
I don't know, man.
Well, maybe in another parallel universe, in another civilization, those intelligent people in those worlds and dimensions, they'll figure it out. That's probably what they're playing now as we speak. That's probably, they've already gotten to that stage already. Shake Money. Somewhere in the far off distant galaxy, they're playing flag basketball and flag boxing.
Flag grabbing a woman's ass. That's true, that. I could play with that game.
He said it was also reported on. What was reported on Fox News? The flag game.
The flag boxing.
Flag boxing. Parallel universe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind Orlando Magic. I mean, I'll root for Orlando Magic. I don't have no hatred for Orlando. The only team I hate is the New York Knicks.
Von Joe said he was disappointed in living in Orlando. He said it's no life out there. So
CB83 is a Magic fan. Vaughn is he's a Magic fan too. So
yeah, CB and Vaughn out there, they're like prisoners out there, living in that world,
So
the so-called Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, but Ryan, like I said, I don't want to go. I mean, I like Frazier. Again, I like Frazier. Leslie Frazier.
I'm a little queasy on. I would rather have the Frazier, the boxer, the actor. No, the actor Frazier.
I thought you meant Joe
The-
Frazier. Joe Frazier,
Joe Frazier. Yeah, the actor from the television show Frasier.
which is by the way on Peacock. Anyway,
Yeah.
see again, I like see. You know what's funny? On paper, you know, Leslie Frazier sounds good, right? LeBron has sweatshops in China making his shoes. So does everybody else.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, yeah. How about Phil Nike? That's or you know, Tim Cook has decided to keep the Apple hardware. If you're tweeting that with an iPhone, then that will be a double standard because you're using a device that was made in a sweatshop.
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
hope you, for that sake, that you didn't tweet that out there or using an iPhone or any smartphone that says, because that same device was made in a sweatshop.
Pretty much. But speaking of sweatshops, no. The thing about it is, when last year when we wanted Vic Fangio, we're like, oh, here we go. We're gonna have this experienced guy who's gonna mentor, mentor Mike
Right.
McDaniel because he's been there and done that, and really none of that really came to fruition. You know what I mean? It just became more turmoil. Because look, I'm gonna address it now that I've had 24 hours to think about it. About who was the reporter that came out with the news. At the end of the day, look, what's his name?
What reporter? Okay, what are you talking
Yeah, there was
about?
a reporter that came out in defense of not Michael Vick, of Vic Fangio.
Michael Jordan. Oh,
No, Vic Fangio.
Jaworski. That's Warren
Jaworski.
Jaworski.
Yeah, Jaworski. And everybody's saying, well, he's a beat writer from Philadelphia. And right,
But
Ron
he used to play
Jaworski,
for the
thank you, X
Dolphins.
Factor. Huh?
He played for both teams.
Yeah, I understand, but still, at the end of the day, I think we're in a feud between he say, she say, and I'm not gonna just like I won't. I'm not gonna be too quick to judge. Vic Fangio on what the players said about him. I'm not gonna judge the players on what a Fangio says about him. You know what I mean?
Right.
At the end of the day, Vic Fangio didn't say none of the things that Jaworski is supposedly saying.
Right.
Exactly, Jermaine. Jamie, it's a freaking divorce. You know what they say? There's three sides to every story: his side, her side, and the truth. So, and not to mention, look,
somewhere in between.
Yeah, think about it. Omar Kelly, we accuse him. Everybody thinks he's a mouthpiece for the Dolphins, myself included. So you know what I mean. So here is Philadelphia hiring this guy, Vic Fangio, right? That's not going to make it's not going to make the fans feel good if he's getting all this bad press. Just like we didn't feel good about Butch Barry coming in when these fucking players in Denver were throwing a celebration. So we had to go into we had to go into what's that called? Defense mechanism or control or some shit like that. Whatever the fuck term is when you're trying to what's the term? What's the term when you're trying to fix your name? Is it damage control? Yeah. So we went into full damage control. So I want to be shocked if what he did was kind of like a damage control. I mean, I want to be shocked if it was the truth as well. One can never know. It's unfortunately people don't report the truth. They just want to, So it is what it is. So I'm not gonna read too much into what he said either. Because at the end of the day, like the only one thing that I agree with Colin Cowherd, I heard him say was people watch the news for affirmation, not information.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
you know, it's like, for instance, you could tell somebody who likes you if somebody says something negative about you, Crypto. If they're quick to believe, yeah, that's I know. You know, you could actually say, hey, Crypto. He used to steal money from his parents growing up. If they didn't like you already, they had a negative opinion. They'll be quick to believe that shit. Like, I could see it. You know what I mean? But people that do like you, like, no, I know Crypto. He doesn't he doesn't seem like that type of person. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's all
Right.
perception nowadays.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just wanted to address that. You know, at the end of the day, look,
Mm-hmm.
what happened with Vic Fangio was unfortunate. Whether it was his fault, whether it was the player's
Mm-hmm.
fault,
Right.
doesn't fucking matter. At the end of the day, the damage is done. All we gotta do is move forward. That's it, man. Nothing we could do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I like, you know.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, of course,
well,
exactly.
it's more of a preemptive strike.
Yeah, preemptive strike. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you 100%. It's just like, for instance, like I told you, I'm a fan of pro football talk, football, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody was to talk about Kyle Shanahan, Chris Sims will come to his defense because they're friends.
Yeah. Chris Sims. Yeah.
Chris Sims and Kyle Shanahan are friends. So
Mm-hmm.
whenever he says something about Kyle Shanahan, that's one of the reasons why you think one of the reasons why all of a sudden everybody says, "Oh, damn." Everybody says, all of a sudden, why do you think all of a sudden he starts talking good about the Dolphins all of a sudden? Because, number one, he doesn't hate the Dolphins, but number two, he wants to make Kyle Shanahan look good because of McDaniel. He actually knew McDaniel because
Mm-hmm. The ties with the coach.
pretty much makes his coaching tree look good too, don't it?
Yeah, everybody that falls underneath him. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
So, look, bottom line is, I want, like you said, we need some young blood in here, and I think and personally, I'm leaning towards an internal hire, in my personal opinion, because you we're at a spot where, like, if we're blowing it up, you know what I mean, type deal, then maybe, you know, but I don't know. It also depends on how much input the players have, you know, how much input you think the players will have in who's the next offensive coordinator.
None.
None?
Probably not. Yeah, because they're being accused of the reason why Fangio's out the door. So I don't know if Greer want to go touch that third rail like that. He'll just keep it between him and Ross and do they due diligence on the player.
Well, him and
Who they
obviously
think
him
should be there.
and the head coach too.
Right. They're going to keep the players out of it because the players are already under, you know, scrutiny about that. You can imagine if they saying the players was, this guy said it and they'd be like, oh, see, the inmates is running the asylum in Miami. I think if they was wise, they would probably stay away from that third rail like that, letting the players being involved with the coaching search. Yeah, because they would think, well, that player would be too much of a player's coach, and they will be like, they will have most likely no accountability because they picked the guy that the players totally bought into. you know, they could easily
Oh
fall and be
man,
accused of that.
Adam Gase is
You
about to
know.
go to the Raiders. I heard. Damn, Great One Divorce should be happy with that news. Appreciate you, Lucas.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Great
by the
one. The
way,
board will be proud. Yeah, Adam Gase. He's making strides in the league. You know,
yeah,
he's trying to continue to build on his Hall of Fame resume. You know, Great
next
one. The
season
board will be
feels like
proud.
a Cardinals Cliff Kingsbury's last year with the loaded team. Holy shit! If I only listen, Bishop 13. If only you weren't so fucking right. Because the year before, remember, they were like what 10-1 or something like that, and they went on. And then they had a collapse at the end, an epic collapse.
Oh, when they was 10-1. Yep.
They had epic, and they didn't even make the
And
playoffs.
and let me steal this phraseology. Their quarterback was in a MVP conversation.
Well, yeah, he was.
So, you know, just want to add that little twist to it.
What you talking about, Willis? No, yeah, he was, and then I think they made the playoffs and just got bounced out the first round.
First round, yeah, they made it. They clinched. So
Does
yeah,
that sound
they
familiar?
lost in the second round, first or second round. Yeah,
No,
I think
they
they
got
lost
killed
to
the first round.
Dallas.
Yeah,
It must
first
have been
round.
to either Dallas or the Green
Does that sound
Bay, one of
familiar?
them teams. Yep. 10-1, quarterback in the MVP conversation. Few injuries here and there, gets bounced in the first round. Yeah, sounds like we stole the script from them. They printed the script, and we gladly took the script from them and said we could do a better job at it.
We
So
could go
yeah,
9-3. We could go 9-3 and go undefeated, and then lose, collapse.
and right. We just told Arizona, well, we could do it better. We could give a more epic collapse. Mm. Yeah, that was crazy. And they did so good against San Francisco that year. Mm. That was the year Dak Prescott forgot to spike the ball, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, when he
crazy.
forgot to hand the ball to the referee.
To the referee, yeah. Decided not to hand the ball to the referee. 13 seconds. It's crazy. The way they lost in 13 seconds, they had the ball. KC 13 seconds, you know. They gave the ball back.
All right, so here we go. Let's talk a little draft now.
Yep.
Because I like McDaniel. Yeah, we like him too, man.
The Senior Bowl is this week.
Yeah, the Senior Bowl is this week. Ricky Pearsall, then a wide receiver from Florida. I could see him coming to us in like the 5th round.
Yeah. Since we're putting the thoughts in people's mind about if we were to move off for a guy like Tyreek, that will be a risk in the sense that you're thinking that
holy shit, man.
Tua, we're being reliant on him. Can he do it for a full 16 games without him? That will be the gamble that you're taking. Or do we want to reset Tua's timing with his best weapon?
Listen, I knew our picks were bad, but you don't really know how bad your picks are until you actually look at them. You know what I mean? We got first round, a second round, a 5th round, 2 6th rounds, and a 7th round. Holy shit! Yeah, they got Chris Greer. Chris Greer got to pull rabbits out of his ass this time around.
Yeah, he do.
And knowing Chris Greer, he'll probably pick another Noah Benogany round 1.
Yeah.
He'll probably either pick a cornerback or an edge rusher, edge player.
Mm-hmm. I don't agree with the big O all the time, but I agree with him when he said you should draft a quarterback until you declare a franchise quarterback.
What's up, Casden143? Hey, you did 20. What did you out of curiosity, what did you pick? I'd like to know.
Right.
I'd be trading back to get more picks.
I'm doing what Detroit did. I'm moving up 20 slots or 20, almost 20 slots to the 3rd pick.
Mhm.
Picking a quarterback and then letting the chips fall where they may.
You know what? I'm gonna go to Chicago. Say, hey, listen, I'll tell you what. I'll give you all my draft picks this year. Let me get that number 1 overall pick. I'm gonna do the Ricky Williams.
The Ricky Williams trade. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking more so the Detroit Lions trade.
Which is what?
I just want to move up 20 slots or almost 20 just to get in the top 5. Mainly the top 3 because the top 3 quarterbacks can go 1, 2, and 3. But something's telling me Bears are not picking a quarterback.
I mean, I think next year is gonna. You know what? I could also see Chris Greer loading up for the future too. He's done that too. He'll you know. But holy shit, man!
Yeah.
Lucas is Penix is junior is what we need. What do you know, Penix Jr.? I'm gonna be doing I'm gonna be looking at mock drafts, and I'm gonna see who they got. You know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop the link. We're gonna do like one at a time.
I'm dropping it. We got
just
I would be putting my mock draft up there, seeing how many people I need to get to do my Detroit Lions style draft to get Drake May, London, or either LSU QB.
I traded back 2 spots to get 2 more picks. I got an OC, Benson, tight end from Kent State, wide receiver from Georgia. Then I took a nose tackle. Yeah, I like it. That's nice. I'm hoping Chris Greer could get the have that word, you know what I mean? That wherewithal to do something like that. Yeah, you got my vote, Ricky type trade. Hell yeah. Let's think about it.
Because I'm hitting a soft reboot. I'm doing what I need to do to get I know it's a gamble. Everybody say, "Well, you're starting over with a brand new quarterback."
Is that a soft reboot? Is like a soft taco or a soft shoe?
Yes, exactly, like a soft taco. I'm gonna give Mike McDaniel a chance to be a versatile coach.
Think about it. Never forget this. The only 2 players that had significant, the only 2. I don't want Drake May.
Now he's got the talent. I'm talking about that kid from LSU, or hell, Caleb Williams is still a viable guy in a West Coast offense.
Right.
So
yeah,
he's got the attributes of what Mahomes put on the field. He's not going to be Mahomes in year 1, but he's already showing that potential. Jalen Daniels, that kid Daniels, yeah, he can put up the numbers. But I'm looking at give him a young receiver core and give him the style. I think we need to go 1-1-1-1 and 1 mobile quarterback, meaning 1 elite fast guy, 1 elite pass catcher with good route running, with size, a good route runner as a tight end and a serviceable blocker, a good speed and power back combination, meaning we already got Achane, we just go to get the power back, and that's my core on offense.
So
You know,
let's talk about let's talk about our first guest, Todd LaBruto. What's going on? Hey, so question of the day.
hey, what's up, man?
Who do you want for defensive coordinator, and what do you want with that? What would you do for your first pick?
I wouldn't mind Frazier. I kind of agree with you. And plus, he's going to want to beat Buffalo twice every year, so you got to have that in your back pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And my first pick, I'm trading down. I'm dead serious. I'm trading down as many times as I can to get to number 35, 34. Because, Crypto, remember what you just said? There's going to be a receiver in that area named Xavier Leggett.
Mm-hmm.
He's 6'2", runs 4'2", 4'3", and he weighs 227.
Okay, yeah, that's the prototype as far as a good size and speed and route running. I don't want one specialist, because you know how I felt about DVP.
Yeah, no,
I don't
he has
want
good
just
hands
one guy
too.
that's only good with one thing. Yeah,
he has good hands too.
See, here's the thing, and you know what's up? It's like
yeah, we got good
everybody.
hands.
Everybody says everybody talks about how he abandons the run. Say, hey, we're gonna run the ball. We're gonna pass more, whatever. I'm gonna run more, and then towards the end, he abandons the run. So he had that bad habit of abandoning the run. And here's the other fear I have is we draft a wide receiver or another target for Tua Tagovailoa, and they only throw it to him like once every other game.
Well, see, here's the problem. Here's the issue: is Waddle's unhappy,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't
you
know.
got to start thinking about him as a replacement or Tyreek. You got to have one. You got to kind of like unbalance it. Not have two of the same type of guys.
Here's the thing: if you get Tyreek to do a little contract maneuvering, you save $20 million. That means you don't have to go to Tua and extend him right this second.
Mm-hmm. No, you don't, because Tyreek can maneuver his money too.
Yeah, and if Waddle's that unhappy, I like Waddle. Don't get me wrong, but he drops too many passes too.
Yeah, he's been disgruntled, kind of. Yeah,
so
he's been disgruntled. He is very disgruntled. It showed in that KC game. He was not happy at all.
But I'm just saying, if he's unhappy and he's not being reliable, and we can maneuver money somewhere else with Tyreek to keep him a little longer, and bring in a young number two like Leggett or something with the speed. What, do you make a trade?
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
You can get maybe still a first or a high second for Waddle if you did that.
You could probably get multiple. You could probably get a first and a third, and maybe a third and a fourth. You'll get multiple picks.
Because the rest of the league is still looking at him as number 2 because of Tyreek,
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're stuck with Tyreek because at the end of the day, look, in my opinion, when I seen Tyreek off the field in that Jets game, I seen kind of like the old Tua where he wasn't pressured to throw the freaking Tyreek Hill. He was throwing the ball around. He was playing I don't know. He looked, and Waddle was playing great as the number 1. He had big yards. He had, so
yeah.
I think, and at the end of the day, Tua has a lot more chemistry with Waddle than he does with Hill.
I don't know. With the way I think Hill caught up to him over these last couple of years. Because even in college, he didn't throw that much to Waddle. He really didn't, because it was always
Devontae Smith and Jerry Jeudy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Smith and Jeudy was his main guys.
Yeah, but still, at the end of the day, when Hill was gone,
listen, I love Waddle. I'd love to keep him, but if he's going to be disgruntled and he needs to improve his hands.
Yeah, the body catching do have.
Hey guys, I gotta go. My son's calling. My son's calling me. I gotta go.
Right.
Oh, okay, be good, man.
Yeah, man, I like Waddle.
Well, yeah, I would say that's one improvement that Waddle can make that better his game, because he can stay on the ground, stop jumping, snag it out the air, and keep going, he will be that much more dynamic. To me, that's the only thing he needs to really change. Snag the ball out the air. Don't rely on body catching, and keep your feet on the ground, for crying out loud. You give the defenses a extra 50% chance of stopping you when you jump in the air for the ball. Because
Yeah.
you got to, it's gravity, it's science. You got to come back down to earth when you do that. So when you're in the air for a fraction of time, that defense has a time to catch up to you to make a tackle. The moment you leave your feet, most likely it's going to be right there at the possession. You come down, it's going to be a tackle right there. Unless you just so wide open where you can do that and there's nobody around you.
Yeah, Jamie,
You
I
jump
agree.
in the air.
Jumping catch has to stop. He actually thinks he's a dolphin.
What'd he say?
Jumping catch has to stop.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And he could just, catch and still run and stride. He'll get a lot. And he could be the leader in yardage if he just focus on that. But yeah. He's got to snag that ball out there. Because if you catch it in your chest a lot, the defense could get his hands on you. Because if you're not catching it away from your body and you got strong hands, you could still snag it and come out the reception. You know what I'm saying? Hands catchers have always been the elite. They tend to be the elite receivers, like Chris Carter, Rice. You know what I'm saying? They've always relied on their hands. Hand-eye coordination, like hand-eye coordination, like a baseball hitter, right? Like Barry Bonds, right?
Mm-hmm.
The greatest hand-eye coordination in the game. Steroids or not, you still have to make hand-eye coordination to get to the ball. I don't know if the steroids helped his eyesight. I'm just saying.
So, according to this, the Senior Bowl is going to be head coached by Tennessee's defensive line coach Terrell Williams and New York's Jets defensive coordinator Jeff Oberge. They'll be coaching the Senior Bowls. Yo, Q, what's going on?
So that's
my
the coaching staff.
Huh?
I was wondering who's the coaching staff.
Yeah. I remember Brian Flores was the
it was us. Yeah, Brian Flores was the Dolphins coaching staff.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that's when he first used the offensive coordinators.
Mm-hmm. Right. That was the year. Yep. Yeah. But see, that was a plot. A lot of people in hindsight criticize it now. But darn well, people was embracing it, saying, oh, it's going to catch a lot of defensive coordinators off guard. They're not going to know what plays we're calling because it's coming. They don't know which guy it is and what the tendency of which guy it is. I remember the positive spin that they was putting on that co-offensive coordinator. And then they went and drug up what the Rams did with Dick Vermeil, and try to say that, it worked out real well for them. They went to the Super Bowl with that. But now all of a sudden, it didn't work for us. They freaking just say, oh, it was a bad idea. I'll tell you, boy.
Kind of like the Vic Fangio becoming a defensive coordinator. That was a bad idea.
Yeah, it's a bad idea now. Right. And they were so in a hurry to get rid of Boyer, right? Couldn't get rid of him fast enough. Fangio is going to really make us a contender.
All right, Ben. All right, let's do a little digging for Casman here. Ben Sinnott, whatever. I guess he's a tight end for. He's a tight end.
Okay.
6'4".
I don't know. I'm kind of queasy on tight ends.
pounds from Kansas State. Hey, man. He could.
You said 400 pounds.
No, not 400 pounds. 6'4", 247 pounds. I don't know if I said 400.
Oh,
Did I say 407?
yeah, I thought you said 400 pounds. Like, goodness.
No.
Who's that? A
So,
lineman?
yeah, he probably played with Skylar Thompson. There you go. Bringing Skylar
Yeah.
Thompson, one of his old weapons.
Listen, I'm a little queasy when it comes to tight end.
He's a tight end / fullback for Kansas State Wildcats.
We picked a tight end in every draft. David Long. What was it that kid we
And
got
he can
last
block
year?
too.
You know, once we demonstrate that we can make hay out of the tight ends we got on our roster, I don't want us to draft another tight end. I don't know. That's just me. I'm a little.
What happened to
queasy
that?
when
What
it
happened
comes
to that
that
tight ends coach who made all these tight ends? Who played with Antonio Gate and all these guys? Remember?
Yeah. But see, remember, we were saying in the Waddle draft, we was real hyped about Kyle Pitts, and then Panay, Cal, and Waddle and Smitty. I was a Smitty guy, but everybody was like, "Oh man, let's go get Kyle Pitts. He's a big target." You know, he was destroying people, him and Tony. You know, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't know if that'll work with Tua's skill set." Because I never really saw him throw the tight ends a lot in Alabama. So I kind of naturally strayed away from that position in general because of us deciding to go with Tua. Now, if we had a different quarterback, then yeah, I would be all on board.
Yo, Kari, what's going on, man?
Nothing, fellas. What's going on?
Hey,
Loving the
what's up,
conversation.
KP?
What's going on, Crypto? Yeah, man. Was in those spaces earlier listening to all that madness.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was pandemonium.
Yeah, but I much prefer this talk here. We're talking Senior Bowl prospects and potential draft picks for the Dolphins.
Yeah. By the way, who's your favorite?
You heard mine's my proposition, right?
Who's your defensive coordinator of choice? But go ahead, Crypto. Tell me your proposition.
No, I was just going to reiterate that I was going to do the Detroit move, the move up 18 slots to the top 5 to get a quarterback. Despite
I wouldn't be mad if we made a huge move like that. In fact, that might just be the recipe that Greer needs to cut bait and show that he's willing to come off his biggest mistake. You know, and he just might survive if the guy's a phenom, a la C.J. Stroud or something like that, right? At this point, I think he may need a big gamble, so I wouldn't put it past him. But honestly, man, I'm just taking in the information now. I don't have a favorite. I don't have a draft prospect that I love yet. Or as far as the defensive coordinator goes, Leslie Frazier is a guy who's definitely knows what he's doing, right? He's been successful in his last 2 stations. I wouldn't be mad to see him come in here, but I still think it's all, condiments. It's all the ketchup and the mustard and the mayonnaise and the Worcestershire sauce and all this kind of stuff. We need to get to the meat of the matter, and that is our quarterback play, man. If our quarterback play was better, we're having totally different discussion this offseason. If we go one game further in the playoffs. So I think really everyone's been let down, including Chris Greer, by the failings of our quarterback, who can't seem to come up in big time. And it all descends from there, Say what you want. I know there have been discussions about the organizational chaos, whether we have a soft organization, we're letting the players run, the inmates run the asylum, all that stuff. But in reality, I think we need our quarterback to step up, man, and be the guy. And that solves a lot of problems. Everybody looks better if he takes control. So,
but here's the thing about Chris Greer. It's like, I don't know. He hasn't really. What evidence does he show you that he's going to do the right thing?
Another great point. Yeah, he's had mixed success in the draft. That's for sure. And then he tends to overspend for the top free agents. So, I mean, a lot of the problems we have now are his creation. I mean, one could easily make the case that he's led us into this hole that we appear to be in this offseason. But at the same time, I think more than anybody else, he's the guy who really laid everything on the line for Tua. He's built everything around Tua. He brought in Tua pieces to, magnify his talents as a quarterback. He spent, and I think when it comes down to it, he was failed. I think he's gonna go, if Tua goes down, Greer's definitely got to go down too. Which is why I suspect that he may take a huge gamble this offseason in some form or fashion. I wouldn't be surprised. But hey, I'm sitting back watching like all of us casual fans. I'm definitely no expert. And watching what these guys do. So yeah.
But here's the thing about that. About one thing about Chris Greer.
We got to make sure we get Sharif up here to nominate everybody for the National Fan Awards.
I want you to think about this. The last two drafts, right? I know we had slim pickings when it came to draft, whatever. That's what you want to ride with. But you only have one impact player out of two drafts, which was
What have you done for me lately? What have you done for me lately? And nothing to help the team other than A-Chain. And say what you want about A-Chain, he's spectacular. Speed, decisive, cuts. The same critique I had of him when we drafted him remains. Long-term health based on his size. And while he's a great inside runner, he's going to have to learn how to preserve his body a little bit better and avoid some of the big hits to remain on the field. That's going to be the thing with him throughout his early career. But you're right. I mean, you have to give Chris Greer a D when it comes to the draft. He had meager resources, right? We didn't have a ton of picks like we did at the beginning of the rebuild. But come on, we need these guys to come in and be helpful. And Cam Smith didn't play at all practically. The guy Tyndall, he's been Mr. Invisible, and all the other tertiary and late picks too. They've not done anything to contribute to the team. So yeah, I would give Chris Greer a D if we were to grade his draft success over the last 2 years.
Okay. Now I have this question. Now that you're here, I'm going to look it up. So, real quick, while I'm looking up this information, because I want to be 100% actual and factual, you know what I'm saying? Which defensive coordinator are you leaning on?
What are the choices? Give me some choices.
Today we highlighted Anthony Campanelli. We just hired the internal candidates. We had Ryan Slowick.
Right.
And well, Anthony Campanelli. I looked up his Wikipedia, and he's pretty much besides the Miami Dolphins, he's coached no pro teams. This is the first team he's pretty much out of college, Boston College and Rutgers. So that's him. And then Slowick, which was intriguing to me, the outside linebackers coach, because his brother is the offensive coordinator for Houston. He has another brother that's a scout for the 49ers, and his dad was a defensive coordinator. So it's kind of like he's kind of like it's in his blood, if you will. Right.
Well, like I say, none of those. I mean, it's good to know that guy comes from a football family. That always helps, But remember, guys like who was it? I think Jeff Ireland was from a football family. Before him, who was the GM before him? Spielman. He was from a football family, and those guys were failures too, as GMs, right? I mean, that only goes so far. Like I said, I think Frazier is my pick right now, given the names that have been mentioned. I think when you consider Mike McDaniel as still a young coach who has to learn things, he needs the kind of veteran support around him and that coaching staff that'll firm up, that can be in his ear and like give him, just words every now and then on some of the things that he may be trying to do as a young, innovative coach. I think a guy like Frazier definitely has the experience to be that kind of a guy. If McDaniel is humble enough to accept that kind of advice.
Yeah.
So I think one of the problems with our franchise has been we lean on the experimental. We try to get the young up and coming guy. I mean, we did that with Gase, kind of. We did that with McDaniel. We even did that with Flores, right? But none of those guys had an established track record of success in the position that they were hired to fill. And so we keep on looking for, a success that hasn't been shown on paper yet. So I'm one that for veterans. I think a successful veteran coaching presence will go a long way on a team like this that obviously needs somebody to get in Jalen Ramsey and Javon Holland's face and say, listen, shut the F up and play football.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn.
Down a bit.
I can tell a story.
I don't give a damn what era we're in.
I could tell a story as a Bills fan specifically about Jordan Phillips when Frazier was the defensive coordinator. We all know Jordan Phillips had a lot of talent, but he would sometimes, play with a lot of half-assed the effort. And Jordan Phillips.
As a matter of fact, what's funny is the one loss that we have before. Obviously, Josh Allen has 2 losses to the Dolphins. The first loss, a big chunk of that reason you guys lost us was because of Jordan Phillips. He cost you guys a first down. We got a first down because of him. But go ahead.
Yeah. Basically, just a quick story. This was back in 2018 when he first came to Buffalo, and I guess it was at a practice, and he was loafing around, not putting in the full 100%. And Leslie Frazier pulled him aside after practice and said, "If you ever practice like that again, you're going to be off his football team." And I think there's something about Leslie Frazier's demeanor, the fact that he was a starting corner for the '85 Bears. He's a very stoic man, and it's almost like you don't want to disappoint your grandfather, the way his personality is. And that pretty much that conversation that Leslie Frazier had with Jordan Phillips turned his career around. So I think what you just said, the guy previously before me said, I think it would be tremendous leadership and stability beyond just being a defensive coordinator in the Miami Dolphins organization.
Yeah, but check this out. I got the information.
He's highly respected.
I got the information. Okay, look. 2019, we had a first round, a third round, a fifth round, a sixth round, a seventh, and 2 sevenths. It's pretty much almost the same image. The only thing is we got a first, a second right now, 2 sixths and 1 seventh. So this is pretty much the draft we have now is better than this draft. Okay. As far as positioning is concerned. In that draft, we got Christian Wilkins, Michael Dieter, Andrew Van Ginkel, Isaiah Prince, Chandler Cox, and Myles Gaskins. So at the end of the day, those rookies, I know we had a trash team the year before. They made bigger impacts. You're talking about a handful of draft picks. The only one that we didn't come out was Isaiah Prince, who got picked up by the Ravens.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, he started in the Super Bowl.
No, he got picked up by the Ravens first.
And then he started in the Super Bowl, I think.
Yeah,
for the Bengals.
Cincinnati. But anyway, you know what I mean? So that tells you right there, it's either Chris Greer can draft or Brian Flores is a better developer of players.
What the hell?
Take your pick.
Well, like I said, man.
No. No, man.
No surprise. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, no surprise, but I think that, and I know it's rehashing old territory, but I was one of those who was shocked when the whole thing with Flores went down. I've been called the Flores guy. I think Flores had the right approach, the right medicine for what this team needed at the time. I was a big fan of that "it takes no talent" mantra, and
He reminded me of Bill Cowher when he was real younger with the Steelers, like in the early '90s.
Yeah, and I think he had us.
Bill Cowher was that style. Yes.
Yeah, he had us on a trajectory, right? To get tough-minded guys throughout the roster, right? If he would have been allowed to complete his mission, we might have had the most talented guys, right? I am, open to that criticism of the fact that he let a lot of talented guys go, but
he was trying to build a foundation, though. It was beyond just, you know what I mean?
Right. But we chose to go with the coddling, the babying, and the promise of a guy who you spent the 5th draft pick on.
The squeeze the Charmin method. I call that the squeeze the Charmin method.
The cosmopolitan method.
Right. I call it the anti-football method.
The cranberry and vodka
you can say that too. I'm just trying to be a little bit more PG about it. It's the squeeze the Charmin method.
Well, like you said, look, football. This is NFL has become a flag football anyway. So
yeah.
Well, it is. I agree. That is the trend. But in the end, I think the teams who end up winning are teams who are willing to be hard-nosed and who will execute on the small details, on the finer details. And you can't be a team like that unless you're trained mentally to stand up in adverse conditions. And that's what a coach like Flores is going to give you, that edge to win in the clutch. So,
Hey, Kari, I got a quick question. You know me, I'm going to get, it's a math-based question. It's a math-based question. Hey, listen, if I was to tell you, what would you accept more? A chance to be 10 minutes away from the Super Bowl, or a chance to be 9 hours away? Which one would you choose the most likely, and giving you a better chance of punching your ticket? Being 10 minutes away from a Super Bowl or 9 hours away from a Super Bowl?
I'm so glad you asked me that question, guy, because I've been blown away by some people's arguments and answers to that question. Obviously, the answer is 10 minutes away. You can jump the fence if you're 10 minutes away. You know what I'm saying? 9 hours away, you ain't nowhere close. But
you're not in a hemisphere. But yet, the folks that's 9 hours away is saying, "Oh, you're 10 minutes away. You didn't get there, so you're the same as me." No, you're not. I'm still 10 minutes away. You're still.
Exactly.
Just because Michael Jordan is sitting as the gatekeeper of that 10 minutes, being 10 minutes away, doesn't diminish you being 10 minutes away. But you're forgetting the fact that you're 9 minutes away from challenging Michael Jordan for the throne.
Right.
Yeah, man. What's up, AB? How you doing?
Shake, what is your assessment of that's a broad question, but like of the Dolphins, do you want serious changes, or are you kind of still wait and see?
I'm still waiting to see. I mean, look, nothing is played on paper. Even the most, you think that I don't know. This league is hard to. I think a lot of things come down to luck, because when the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, nobody expected them to made that Super Bowl. Nobody bet that they were going to be in the Super Bowl that year. So I mean, there's a lot of surprises. Who would have thought the Giants would have went to the Super Bowl and won it in 2007?
Right.
So I mean,
right, they did go. They went from a wild card all the way through.
Yeah, so
they beat the Packers and the Falcons, and I think what was the other one? There was a third team. The Eagles, I think, or I know they beat they upset Green Bay in Lambeau. I think they was one of the few teams that beat them. They went all on the road. I think it was Lambeau. Yeah, that was the last game. Eli beat.
The thing that's kind of like annoying as a fan in this division and broadly this conference is brutal, man. We kind of lucked out with some of these quarterbacks. Like Herbert was hurt, Rodgers was
Good
hurt,
point, Josh.
Deshaun
That's
Watson
what I
wasn't
was
all the way
saying.
back.
That's
Burrow
why I would
got hurt.
cherish being 10 minutes away. You
I
know
mean,
what I'm
Trevor
saying?
Lawrence-
Because
dude,
you might
Trevor
not get a
Lawrence
chance
got
to be
hurt.
10 minutes away next time.
That's
You see
like
what I'm
five.
saying?
Yeah, Crypto. That's five. I mean, that's five damn good quarterbacks that all got hurt. Like if the Bills
Yep. And
if
it
the
was all
Bills
in our
fuck around
conference.
next year and they're 6-6 or 7-6, that it ain't gonna matter, dude. They're not gonna make the playoffs. So it's
Yeah,
just
we caught a
this
break in the
conference is
AFC.
it's brutal, dude. It makes the
All
NFC
of them
look
might be
silly.
healthy too. Is crazy. And then all of the NFC quarterbacks again end up being the one to get hurt. You
Oh,
know?
I forgot.
It's
CJ
crazy.
Stroud. He's not going to be a rookie anymore. It's just
No,
ridiculous.
it's
Dude.
his second full year. Yeah.
No, I mean it's
Yep.
a good conference, but let's put things in perspective here. The things that first have to be accomplished is you have to stabilize your front office and your coaching staff. That's the first thing that has to be stabilized. Then once that's stabilized, what you have to do is you have to make a determination of how you're going to address your cap issues. Once you move forward to getting your cap issues rectified, then you can start going ahead and make your, the players that you want to retain as free agents, and you get those signed and you move on your contracts and you establish whatever kind of cap that you could possibly establish to go ahead and put add-ons to your team. Then you move forward into the draft and you make your moves. Each team has a specific number of draft choices that they have based on the moves that they've made over the course of the year. And then you have your post June 1st cuts to be able to save money into next year and maybe do a little bit of dabbling into free agency. And then voila, you're at training camp. And every team has to ask that question within the next 12 to 14 days, because once the Super Bowl ends, you've got that period of time before all the caps have to be at the cap minimum. So you can maneuver for business. And that's the way you go. And I think the teams that are out in front of this right now, that have got their coaching staff set and start progressing, are further ahead, which is why I'm looking at the Dolphins situation is you can't delay much longer in getting a defensive coordinator. You've got to get this thing straightened out, because that person's got to come in and work with Greer, work with McDaniel to coordinate what you want to do to bring your cap situation into compliance and do contracts.
Well,
and I
here's
don't
the
know
thing,
if
though.
I'd be interested in everybody's opinion.
Well, here's the thing. If some of the reports saying that Vic Fangio didn't have a say in what players, he said, look, we made you the highest player. You just coach who I give you. So at the end of the day, if that's the approach they took last year, I don't think they don't care about. I don't think the defensive coordinator has too much say in who he has. You know what I mean? You just coach what we give you. Here's the ingredients, cook.
Well,
that's what they did
To
last
answer
year.
your question, Sea Devil, yes, that's a wild card team. To answer your question.
And what it is
Yeah,
a
but go
team
ahead.
that isn't prepared.
Yeah, it's a wild card
to
team.
go and
Everybody
move
starts with
into
9
cap
hours if you're a
compliance.
wild card
El
team.
Capitan.
You're not
Yeah, what's
by
up?
doing it it in that way. How are
But
you
yeah,
getting
Sea
into
Devil.
cap compliance?
Huh?
How are you establishing what you want to do by moving into cap compliance, choosing who you're going to let move on to free agency? You have to have this thing buttoned down. And I'm afraid that this organization does not have things buttoned down.
Mark loves to come around when it's talking. Listen, because Mark, I can't push back because that's kind of my whole deal right now. First of all, thanks. Sorry, everybody. Been gone.
Hey,
been
Cap. How you
busy.
doing, buddy?
Hello, everyone. I'm back.
Good to see you, brother.
I'll be back in the full swing of things, hopefully, for now until I got to upgrade my hardware. So, anyhow.
Studio's looking good, though. I'm telling you.
Thanks. I got a couple of things in the mix, and the things that I'm trying to get done in the future is going to take better hardware. So it's gonna cost some money, but whatever. I'm going to make it happen.
Well, let's all contribute. Get you monetized and get you rolling.
Gonna be monetized here in the next couple weeks, so we'll be back at action.
Sweet.
So
$1 billion. $1
That's right.
billion.
Yep.
Cap's gonna buy the Dolphins. Cap's
tell
gonna
you
buy the
what,
Dolphins and fire Greer.
I promise you guys
Make
this.
sure you buy the team. That's all I gotta say.
We get the tailgate gets this team, and we will win Super Bowls. I'll be damned, boy. That has happened. We'll win the Super Bowls up
Hey,
here.
Cap, with $1 billion, you can buy the football team and you can turn it on any way you want.
Hey, Cap, you got to make here's the condition, though, Cap. You got to make Pete your general manager.
I will definitely.
Man, that would be something.
I don't know about making a general
Well,
manager.
the Bills will probably be
but
winning the division for the next 50 years if Pete's our general manager.
I might use Pete as a on Bud scouts, so like a guy to really just say stuff, and then we can just use that as like a barometer sometimes. But who
Look
knows,
at this way, Cap. What Pete can do is he can play like Skylar Thompson as a scout quarterback, and that'll work.
Hey, by the way, so what is Buffalo going to do for the cap issues? What have they done?
Buffalo. Okay, I've already kind of looked into this, and I might recommend you guys
You got to see double in the fourth quarter. Yep, you got it.
Yeah. Well, Buffalo's sitting at with 46 players at $51 million over the cap. They're projecting restructures for Allen for $23.5 million, for Diggs for $13.5 million. Then they're going to be able to do some contract extensions on Dawkins and McGovern. And anyway, they go through a whole list of things on over the cap, and they did it on cover one. So Buffalo should be about $35 to $40 million under the cap after all the restructures. And then they'll be able to make very limited moves.
I think they're going to do a youth movement, Mark. I really do.
Why?
They're going to have to.
No, they don't. No, they don't have to. They can do the same thing that all the other teams that have cap issues do. They restructure contracts. Restructuring contracts get you a lot of money.
I know they can't, Mark. I know they can. I'm saying it's possible that they look at like what KC did in 22, and just because they have 10 draft picks, they might. I'm not saying they will with all the players. I think there's going to be some youth movement, especially on the defense.
They're not going to re-sign Gabe Davis. They're not going to re-sign Leonard Floyd, obviously, because those are people that are either. Davis is going to want 14 to 16 million. He's not worth it. They're going to have to draft a wide receiver probably in round one. I don't think
Davis will get 14 to 16 million on the open market either. So
it takes one stupid team to make a stupid move.
But you notice that happens less and less.
Floyd's looking for the money. There'll be other people out there. But if you think Buffalo's going to compete for a guy like a T. Higgins, that's not going to happen. They don't have the money. They just don't. They're going to be able to add a couple of $4 to $5 to $10 million a year guys. They're going to buttress up the safety. They're probably going to look for a linebacker. They're going to end up re-signing. They're actually in pretty good shape because they got their DC in place. Their OC is now in place. So I think from a team standpoint, they'll re-sign Dotson. They will obviously have Dorian Williams. They'll also have Milano. They'll also have Bernard. And then they'll draft a linebacker. They're going to draft a wide receiver because Diggs really is not a number one wide receiver anymore. And they have to transition him within 2 years.
What about Johnson?
Ty Johnson or Tyrone or the safety or the corner. The corner signed for he signed him. He signed last year for 4 more years.
So who's the offensive coordinator?
Oh, okay. So he don't have an issue with this.
So he's a permanent.
Yeah, Brady's staying.
Yeah, Brady's the OC, and Bobby Babbage is the DC.
Yeah, yep.
Well, Mark,
so McDermott's no longer going to be calling plays, huh?
It hasn't really been determined yet. I think it's going to be a mix of what McDaniel wants and what Babbage kind of brings into the fold and everything. I think the offense will be different. They're going to be more of a running based offense. They're really sitting in good position on the offensive line. Dawkins is long term and he'll be extended. McGovern is going to be long term. He'll be extended. Morris they'll get for less money this year, but then they'll retire him at the end of next year, and then Bates will take over. They've got a rookie that last year who played really, really well in Osiris Torrance.
See, here's the thing, Mark. When I measure the Dolphins and the Bills and their cap situations, they're really similar, but the team. Your losses and retools with whatever you guys do. I don't know. Somebody got a dog.
Somebody's got an unhappy puppy.
Yeah.
No, my girlfriend's home, and now my dogs are whimpering for her to come inside.
You got to put the rabbit dolphin down. You got not the rabbit dolphin. I mean, damn, the
Gotta
rabbit
give him a
dog
treat,
down.
Shake.
The rabbit dolphin.
No,
down.
go
Don't
ahead,
do
Cap.
that. But
So you were saying about the Bills and the Dolphins.
Sorry,
Cap, right?
Lewis. I was trying to say the rabbit dog.
they could easily, end up with the same kind of moves, restructures, and yada yada yada. But the problem is with money that they could end up with. My point is, they could end up with the same amount of money. You guys aren't losing as much as the Dolphins are. I mean, I don't see how we're gonna keep and replace a guy like Christian
Cap,
Wilkins.
remember something. If you go back, if you re-sign Wilkins and you sign Connor Williams and you re-sign Robert Hunt, you can re-sign him because the first year of that contract is going to be relatively low.
We can re-sign Hunt and re-sign
You got to
I don't
re-sign
think the cap
Hunt.
situation is anywhere near as
we can
bad as
re-sign
the
Connor,
doom
we
and
can
gloom
re-sign
people.
Hunt, but I don't see how Christian Wilkins stays on there. Maybe they can.
Well, what if you get Wilkins
tag
for 5 years? Okay, what if you go
Christian
ahead and give
Wilkins
a
is
big
done.
contract to Wilkins, but you
he's a
control the amount of money
Patriot.
he gets in
So-
2024,
Wilkins is
and
a
then you stretch
Patriot.
the money out.
I'm not saying they couldn't. I'm just saying I don't think they will, and I don't think they should. And they've got to figure
That's
out.
Robert
things
Kraft's
too.
issue.
Here's the deal. The plain fact of the matter is that one of the best things the Dolphins could do to alleviate cap is to sign the quarterback to long term.
Right.
That could be one of the worst things to do in all of it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, but what if it's just like what if it's just like the like a 4-year extension and you can get out of it after like 2 years?
Can you hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3.
it doesn't matter, honestly.
We hear you shake.
Because it's still because of how you have other guys and where other guys are in their contract stuff, it still puts you in like this back against the wall. If you reset, you're blowing it up. It almost forces your hand in a lot of ways with guys. I
have a scenario that I like to throw out there.
Tua is not getting like he's not getting like $65 million a year, dude. It will be like
No, it's not what I'm talking about.
Close.
I'm just saying that you got to think of all the money. Even if they did that, they're still going to have to restructure guys like Ramsey, Chubb, Tyreek, and there's ways they can get money off this year, but it's all going to come to pay next year and again. And
let me throw a lot of people are
throwing out. A lot of people are throwing out like cut Xavier Howard, and I'm like, okay, now.
Well, you can't do it because of the cap. You'd have to restructure him.
You could do a
he may not take a restructure.
We can do a post June 1st cut on him and get like $18 million back. So
yeah, but you don't get it back during the free agent signing period. You're going to get it back
doesn't
after.
matter. Still getting it back. You know what I'm saying? Like you worry about shit like that later. I'm just saying that like okay, even so, I got $18 million. Who's replacing him? You know what I'm saying? Like.
Well,
Cam
who's going to replace him?
It's Cam Smith.
I have a scenario for you guys, and I want you to
already in
consider
the building.
Is it?
I want to get your feedback on it. What if you decide you're going to give Tua the 5th-year option? You're going to let Wilkins, you're going to let Williams, you're going to let Hunt, you're going to let Van Ginkel and other free agents go, and you realize you're going to get high compensatory picks for at least 3 of those guys. You let Tua play in 2024. Let's say the season ends up 7-10. So what?
Mark,
what you do at the end of the year in 2025 is you have 10 or 11 draft picks.
What do you mean 7?
Mark, you're giving the worst case scenario.
This is fucking terrible, Mark.
Can I please?
I would rather be 2-15 at that point.
Let's just say you let all your guys go, give Tua the 5th-year option with no help, and then you're 7-10 and lose a division.
I know, right?
Come on,
Mark. You're not gonna do anything.
So
look,
lose all our talent, ride out the quarterback, and end up with the worst season in the last 5 years. Okay, continue.
Okay, so what? Because you recover in 2025, you've done a 1-year rebuild instead of trying to put a Band-Aid on this mess that you've got.
Here's the problem.
It's not a mess. They won 11 games last year, Mark. It's not a mess.
Mark, also think of it in this aspect too. You're now taking all these guys we do have right now today and going to say they're 2 years older. Is Tyreek the same guy now at 2 years down the road?
No, you move on.
And the money.
The problem is you move on Tyreek the same way the Bills move on Diggs. It's 2 years down the road.
How long have you had Diggs right now?
I think 4 years, and we got
how long
2
has
years
the Dolphins
left, and then they're going to move on.
Okay, so 6 total years with Diggs, and the Dolphins need to get off on year 3? Is that what you're saying?
No, what the Dolphins have to do is Tyreek is untradeable, just like Diggs is untradeable. You can't move the damn contract. It's too much. So
Mark,
you're
what are
going
the
to be
rules?
stuck with the player for 2 more
We're
years.
done.
Again,
Can
Mark,
a player, can a
pulling it
player
to the
redo their
studs ain't the
contract
way
to
to
make
go.
it tradable? Can't that
If I'm
happen?
gonna do that, I'm
You
gonna might
can
as well
if
just
you
blow
push
the whole
come to
thing
shove.
up then, Mark. I mean, what are you talking about?
Why
You
don't
can,
you?
Josh.
Why don't you say? Why
If
don't you
push
set
come to
yourself
shove,
up
they
for
can.
2025? To be honest with you, Greer, McDaniel, and Tua are all
You know
going to be
what?
gone at
I
the end of
think-
2024 anyway.
You know what? I think I kind of agree with you. I think the Bills should do the same thing. Let's not extend and rework these contracts. Just pay the piper this year. Let the guys walk that you got to let walk. Try to rebuild through the draft, and maybe you guys can flush even and really make a run for it at 2025.
I actually want to cut Poyer, cut Trey White, cut Siren Neal.
Oh yeah,
We're
cutting all
those guys.
those guys. We're letting all those guys
Josh
go. And
Allen,
we're gonna
you can't
take
do that
play
because
enough
we're gonna
games
take
without
draft
salary cap
picks.
ramifications.
You guys should take
You can
draft picks
restructure, you can do
and go
things.
completely with. You should just go restructure, but hang on to some of that money and try to really focus on 2025 and really build the year to win. Not just trying to
Both
every
teams
year
should
in and
tear it
year
down
out.
to the studs.
Next
trying
year,
to
I
get
think all
lucky.
everybody in the division.
No matter what the,
Yeah,
no matter what the case is,
next
the
year
Bills are going to
it should
Next
be
year
the
is the
Jets
year
and
of
the
the Jets.
Patriots fighting for the division.
The Jets
Yep.
will win the
Right.
division next year.
Yeah, the Bills
Exactly. Let the
Bills
Jets
could,
win the
Bills
division.
could band-aid the situation. They could, and they probably will.
Well,
Because
they're
the
going
difference
to. They've been
between-
kind of band-aiding it every year, and in different positions and places.
It's time to get
getting
younger,
injuries.
Mark. It's time to get younger,
It's time
man.
to get younger. So
It
maybe
is.
you guys should just
they're going
have
to,
a
they're,
lay
they're
down
gonna
lose
move on.
my
season.
shit
Hyde's going
if
to
the Jets
retire.
win this division
You know what you
next
should
year.
do? You know what you
Hyde's
should
gonna-
do, Mark? Mark, this is what you should
What?
do. Let those guys go. Cut the fat with the older dudes. Let the young guys come in and rework Allen's contract. So with all the money you're going to save and get ahead on pay off Allen's contract, then now in 2025, you guys will have like fucking a wide range of free agent market money by reworking the contract. And you could just straight spend all the money you want in 2025. Fuck, you might have $100 million.
It's not a bad idea, to be honest with you. You get the team
The Chiefs,
younger.
Mark. The Chiefs did it in
and
22.
You give a shot at it. We don't know what's going to happen with the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs are. Yeah, did anybody look at the Chiefs? Are $26 million under the cap with Mahomes making $57 million next year? With that,
but their whole team is
still
their whole
That is
team
because
is
everybody else is
Mark.
They got a lot of young guys on that team,
$900,000 a
though.
year.
That Tyreek Hill trade, they rebuilt their whole
Right.
entire defense. It's
They
all young
rebuilt
guys.
their whole defense after the Tyreek trade.
The corner,
And-
the corner,
and-
the
and you know what?
corner
Everybody
behind,
except
the
hold
Chris
on,
Jones thing.
that
And by
corner
the way,
behind.
TD, according to T Defense Talk, he said their whole wide receiver room is making $20 million.
Yes.
Yep, I think
Total.
it's pretty close. Does
In
that
total,
include
yeah.
Kelsey or just wide receivers?
All
Just
the
the
wide
wide
receivers.
receivers.
Just wide
All of
receivers.
them.
Not Kelsey.
That's
Yeah,
why
now
Right.
Kelsey
Yeah,
may
doesn't
retire
count.
at the end of the season. They're not going to re-sign Chris Jones.
Packers are like Green Bay with the young wideouts and stuff.
Yeah, the Packers are actually in a really, really good long-term position. I think the core difference between Buffalo and Miami is that the Bills have Allen and you have Tua, and that's the difference in the world.
Well, then why would we ride out Tua at all then, Mark? Why
I think
would
you
we?
should.
If we're gonna
because I
build
don't
for
think- I don't think
2025,
Tua's
why are we
movable.
Well, we're
fucking
gonna have
even
to pay
having
Tua
Tua?
$80 million.
Why are we even paying Tua fucking the 5th-year option if you're going with the logic on that?
Well, if I were the,
I'm with
I don't
Batman. I think we
don't
need to
Tua's
pay
tradable.
Tua $81 million.
What if we
Tua's
just
not, guys, Tua's not
What if we-
tradable. Who are you going to trade him
what if-
to?
who Tua?
Yeah, who are you going to trade him to? Who's going to take a guy with an injury history, a failure of performance in key games, a non-NFL true skill set? He doesn't have the size or the mobility to be an NFL quarterback.
What are you
And
talking
then
about? He
have to
was
turn
like
around and
number
pay him out
one
a
in
long-term
every
contract.
category. In
Who's gonna
Mark, he was
take him?
named a starter in the Pro Bowl. What?
Yeah,
what are you
the guy's a fucking Pro Bowler. He threw for freaking damn near 5,000 yards this year.
Goody.
He played
29 touchdowns
every
and
week.
20 interceptions.
Didn't
He's
get
gonna be the
injured all
captain of a
year.
volleyball team.
He's
Who the hell
number one
cares?
in like 1 million stats. I think there's a couple teams out there that would be like, yeah, we'll take Tua.
Now we're
And
going
guess
down
what?
a rabbit hole.
The Bears
They
would
get
take
to-
Tua in
listen.
a heartbeat.
They can take
No,
Tua.
why?
And,
They're going to
and
take Caleb. They're going to take Caleb Williams, and they're going to move off of
Well,
Justin Fields, and they're going to pick up a pick.
They're
Who would you
saying
rather-
Mark.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Caleb Williams doesn't
I
want
don't
to
know
play
if they're
there.
going to do it.
It doesn't
Yeah,
really
Caleb
matter
don't wanna
because they'll
play.
just go draft.
You see,
they'll just go
California guy don't
Drake
wanna
May,
play in
they'll
the
go
Windy
ahead and
City,
draft
then screw
Jaden
him.
Daniels.
Patriots are getting
So-
Drake.
Daniels want to play. Daniels will play at a heartbeat.
And the
Jaden
thing
Daniels-
here's the
Daniels is
thing.
their best quarterback in this draft anyway.
I
far.
agree with that statement
he'll definitely
wholeheartedly.
go to
To me,
Chicago with,
Daniels is the dude, bro. That's the
DJ
dude.
Moore.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, he'll go there.
You know, I could be wrong. I'm still waiting to see what happens with the kid from Florida that the fucking Colts took. I want to see what happened
Anthony
to me.
Richardson?
That guy's
Exactly.
yeah,
Richardson would be back.
that son of a bitch.
He was playing good before he got hurt.
It's not just that, dude. I look at guys that got skill sets like that, and I'm like, fuck, bro. If that guy could ever figure out how to
when he
deliver,
throws the ball, it almost
He'll
it's
be
like it's
taking
not
jiu-jitsu
real.
next
No, it's
next
almost
year.
like
It's like it's a cartoon. It's like a cartoon. It's weird.
It's like he's putting English on it or something. It's like it's got a backspin to it or some shit. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
I would say Gardner Minshew is a free agent and move on from Tua. Gardner Minshew is actually a better quarterback for you guys. He would be more effective if he could be more effective.
Well, didn't Gardner Minshew beat the Patriots or almost beat the Patriots in the playoffs? Was he their quarterback or that was Boyles?
I think Minshew didn't he beat the Chiefs this year?
Listen, Minshew's
a good
Well,
Minshew's a good solid
Here's the
quarterback.
deal,
The Cajun Rocket.
Yeah.
That's his nickname. The Cajun Rocket.
Gardner Minshew, fucking Baker Mayfield. The NFL's got these guys that are out there that are fucking. You know what? They're not who you want on your team, but if he's on your team, you're like, all right, you know, you're like, we're gonna see what happened.
Okay, but you gotta admit,
I want mayonnaise in my coffee.
Okay, if you gotta admit, like I remember watching, I think it was in New England, like week 8 or whatever the fuck week it was.
I don't mean to cut you off, Josh Allen, but look, Jamie says too. Sam Howell, bunch of those dudes, man. They're just kind of those guys. You're like, I don't want to.
Yeah, they're kind of like in the middle of the pack, right?
I don't want to.
Sam Howell led the league in passing before our game.
I'm just
He
saying,
just fell
like,
off a cliff
there's
after our
always
game.
those guys, and it's like all this potential, and you're like, man, if they could get a really good coach and some really good players around them, they could be really good.
But don't you remember that,
Josh Allen?
I remember that game 2-ahead.
I don't know what happened to Sam Howell out there.
Versus the Patriots in New England, and he was just dicing them up in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how. Sometimes when I look at Tua, it's not all the time, but when he's like in a groove and he's spinning it, there's just no way I would move off him, man. I know there's a consistency issue there, but I don't know.
There's a consistency.
Let me ask you a question.
Other than
I want to ask a question. I want
it's
a
just
fair
different
answer.
levels of consistency.
If the Bills and the Dolphins traded quarterbacks, and Josh Allen was the quarterback of the existing Miami team, and Tua was the quarterback of the existing Buffalo team, you tell me you estimate what their records would have been in 2023.
We would be a Super Bowl
all
team.
the other things happened.
I got to
we'll
be
be
real,
playing
Mark.
next weekend.
I don't. I'm not saying it's going to be too much different, to be honest. I'm not saying that Josh Allen doesn't have things Tua ain't got, but Tua's doing things Josh Allen don't do as well. Now, if I could take Josh Allen and take Tua and smash their heads together and make one quarterback, that would be the quarterback I really want.
Just like, you know what, and just like you could say the same thing if you was to put Patrick Mahomes on the Bills and Josh Allen on the Chiefs, who would be further ahead?
I mean,
it's interesting because that opportunity was available. What Buffalo did, if you remember correctly, is they traded down. You guys gave
the Chiefs. You guys gave.
Yeah, he could have been drafted by
that quarterback.
Yeah. And if Mahomes would have went to Buffalo at that time, he'd have been an abysmal failure because there was no offensive line.
Oh my God, Mark! Please stop.
He would have been an abysmal failure to me.
No,
Patrick
the Bills
Mahomes
would be a dynasty right now. They would be working on a 7th Super
No,
Bowl.
they would.
Yeah, they would. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Look at the team
they would have passed the
Patriots they went to
in 6 seasons.
Mark, there might have been
titles.
There might have been a little bit of variance in the first couple of years, but dude, Patrick Mahomes is like this guy's going to go down as the greatest quarterback that's ever lived.
What he's doing with a bunch of makeshift receivers now and just
who are the receivers on the Chiefs?
He's making a mockery of the NFL right now. It's an indictment on all the general managers.
When Patrick Mahomes was taken, he was put into a Kansas City team that was fully developed, minus a couple of things they could have done with the offensive line.
Not wrong,
the last 2 years. You're not wrong. That was then.
I love Josh Allen.
They were talking about them then.
Hold up.
About all time. We're talking about right now.
When you look at that KC team to then like the 2 years later, the team they were winning with, there ain't nobody on that fucking team when Mahomes was drafted there that they were winning with fucking 2 years later. Except for Kelsey.
Tyreek Hill was there.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
Maybe,
Look it
up.
up.
About the 22 team?
Yeah, but was he Tyreek Hill or was he just a guy that caught fucking punts?
No, he was really Tyreek Hill.
I don't know.
They were a
man. I
playoff
don't
team
know.
with Alex Smith. They sat Mahomes until the last game of the
Yes,
season.
but you
and then
fail
he
to
became the
realize,
starter the
Mark, that
following season.
Mahomes is the guy they needed to take him over the hump.
And
Yeah,
I'm going to ask you,
remember,
can anybody name who the
he
Buffalo
got to
receivers
the
were
eight.
the year that
Look,
Mahomes was drafted?
he became an MVP the next year.
They're better than the receivers they got now.
No, they weren't.
When Patrick
Buffalo had Zay Jones, Benjamin, Kelvin Benjamin, and Charles Clay was the tight end, and they had LaShawn McCoy.
I mean, to tell me Charles
and
Clay
they had
wouldn't be
5
as good
guys
as
on the
Kelsey
offensive line that were cut
with
by the
Mahomes?
next season.
Mark, I love Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen is a great quarterback. I think he's going to go in the Hall of Fame one day.
Like Elway.
But it's like Karl Malone and Michael Jordan. Like Karl Malone is one of the greatest power forwards I ever saw.
Exactly.
Like,
the best.
Great basketball player. He's not Michael Jordan, dude.
That's right, Shake.
It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not the same
Let me ask
thing.
you a simple question. How do you think Patrick Mahomes would have played with a makeshift offensive line, Zay Jones, Kelvin Benjamin, Robert Foster, and Charles Clay?
He would have won. He would have won
better.
I think he would have done so good
at
that
least
the
10,
next
11 games.
He
next year,
Mark, he already did it. Mark, he already did it. The team that went to Mark in 2020 when they lost to the Bucs in the Super Bowl, during that playoffs, their offensive line was all makeshift. It was all a bunch of backups.
Yeah, they lost
bunch of backups.
And let's be real, Patrick Mahomes didn't lose that Super Bowl. I saw that guy put dots in people's eyeballs that whole game. He was hitting people in the
bunch
face.
of drop footballs.
They traded away Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
Tyreek Hill,
Harmon dropped a touchdown.
They traded away
the touchdown.
They traded away Tyreek Hill, the modern day Gale Sayers.
Dropped one in
it hit him in his face.
And then he won MVP and won the Super Bowl, dude. When they traded away Tyreek Hill, Mark.
Yeah, they're like.
Patrick they had Mahomes a makeshift wide receiving.
But they all.
And this year,
that guy's
making a mockery of the league again. Yet again, with less talent.
He's on a whole other level.
Yeah,
and they're probably going to score 50 points on the 49ers.
If they win the Super Bowl, let me say this.
If I had a choice of making, if you go back and you look at that trade between the Bills and the Chiefs and how it played out, Buffalo traded the rights to Patrick Mahomes for Dawkins, the rights to Allen, and there was one other player, and Trey White. So, do you make that trade today?
Yes.
Yes,
it's Dawkins, Trey White, and Josh Allen for Patrick Mahomes.
Everyone who doesn't have Mahomes
Buffalo is going to go. Mark,
everyone who doesn't have Mahomes is fucked. You are starting at a disadvantage with Mahomes being across the field from you.
Right.
Mark's point is that it's not a bad trade, even though
it's
Mahomes
not.
It worked out. It works
You're not
out.
a sucker. You're not a sucker.
Yeah,
it's not a sucker's trade.
Right.
But
hey, Mark, but
it's not. Give me Patrick Mahomes, and I'll figure the rest of the shit out.
The question is,
it's perpetrating. It's the Michael Jordan rule. It's
kind of like
he's stealing everybody's ability to win titles.
Exactly.
Right. He's going to go down at the rate that he's at. He's going to eclipse Brady by the year 2031.
Retires.
Mark,
absolutely, because the general managers don't got the act together.
This is their.
It's like the general managers didn't have the act together when Tom Brady was in the league. Same thing was repeating itself all over.
It's worse than Tom Brady, Crypto. It's even worse.
Tom Brady.
He was never at this level in there.
When Tom Brady got great, it was because he had hit his stride with a wealth of knowledge, and then he extended. He had hit his fucking apex, and he figured a way to extend it into his late 30s and 40s. It was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
That's the phenom. That's him, the competitor. Patrick Mahomes, as long as that motherfucker wants to win him, he will, because he's young enough and still could do all that shit. If he has a second tier, I'm gonna Tom Brady you fucks, we're all fucked. Yeah, that's right. We're fucked. If he decides to go to eating avocado ice cream and fucking, taking fucking ice baths and fucking
it's not
going to
matter anyway, okay?
We need to think about getting a general manager in 2035.
At the age of 39,
you can't hit the quarterback anymore. You can't hit the quarterback anymore. This is going to go on for the next 15, 20 years.
But it takes an absolute. But here's the deal, man. It takes an absolute drive sickness of discipline, because it's just too easy to fucking sit back and watch Netflix. It's too fucking easy to reach in the pantry and eat some bullshit that's for the kids that you shouldn't eat. That's the difference between what Brady did that everyone else can't do. It's the beyond discipline.
Who
I got this one for you, Cap.
passed on the field. I mean, who the hell does that?
Can you imagine if Patrick Mahomes says, "All right, you know what? I want to be the 20th paid, highest. I want to be in the bottom tier of paid quarterbacks and take a discount like Brady."
Yeah, that's If Mahomes decides to go on a hometown discount. Yeah, I mean, technically, again,
it's over.
This fucking guy, listen, he's a D Ford offside, and a couple plays before the half in that championship game they lost for Cincinnati, from going to 6 Super Bowls in his first 6 years. Like that's not an exaggeration, dude.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not 6 Super Bowls.
Fuck,
again,
that's
crazy.
Tampa one.
You're right about that.
That's insane, bro. That's like you know how you go on Madden and you create a team and stuff. It's just come on, dude.
It's that defensive. Remember that defensive penalty they had against the Patriots that had them sealed that interception? That was sealed. That game was sealed.
It was Justin Houston, that guy that was celebrating in the freaking Dolphins locker room. That asshole.
So here's the deal, right?
It wasn't him.
They'll be an athlete and like a philosophy type of shift. There always is. And when Andy Reid retires and they try to figure they elevate someone
should donate
or hire
his brain
someone
to science so we can kind of figure out.
Then if that guy fails, they'll overcorrect, and then they might have some rough years, but in the end, they're gonna figure it out with a guy like eventually Patrick Mahomes will fucking do it because he's proven that he can do it without it, but he's also proven that he can't do it alone. That's a fact. He's only one dude. And there will be
he just needs the guy at Burger King and McDonald's to, or the guy bagging at Walmart. That's all he needs.
But again,
I wonder if we could have Jermaine come up because I'm reading his stuff on comments, and basically he's calling all of us fools because we're not saying Tua's not the best quarterback in the NFL. Jermaine, why don't you come on up and talk to us?
I think Tua's like 9 or 8. 8, 9 or 10.
Definitely won't be coming up.
Tua's up there. Tua's a fine enough quarterback. I don't know.
Apparently, Mark, you don't know Jermaine.
I don't think Tua's reached the ceiling yet either. I don't think Tua's reached the ceiling.
To me, please share your info on Jermaine because he's on these chat rooms incessantly, kind of like I am, and kind of enjoying things, but he's still talking about how Tua's this and Tua's that, and I just keep pointing out things like, please tell me why Tua is terrible at the end of the season. Tell me why he's terrible against better playoff teams. Tell me why he rings out.
Well, see, Jermaine's a chat warrior. You got to understand, Mark. You got to realize it. Him and ABAB is joined at the hip.
Crypto, you said you have no questions with Tua in the regular season. You're just saying he has to take the leap in the playoffs, right? At your position, Crypto.
Yeah, that's the next stage of his development.
Yeah. That's not. No, I don't. I think there's.
I take a different stance than that.
Tua's got to start winning games against playoff caliber teams.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, that too. I mean, because that'll help him in the playoffs once he start establishing that in the regular.
I got to see Tua play playoff caliber football. That's
look,
what
Mark,
I want.
Here's the thing: Josh Allen beat Kansas City twice in the regular season.
Actually, 3 times in the regular season.
Huh?
Mahomes and Allen are 4 and 3. Mahomes has 4 wins. Allen has 3.
4 and 3. No, they're 4 and 2. When was it?
No, they're 4 and 3. Shake. Believe me.
Regular season. Are you talking about the total records?
Total records that they played. They played 7 times. Mahomes has won 4. Allen's won 3. The Chiefs have scored exactly 3 points more in those games.
Yeah, so I would hang my hat on that too if I was a Bills fan. I would hang my hat on that too if I was a Bills fan.
I still don't know how the fuck we lost that
4 Super Bowl losses.
I don't understand.
My teeth kicked in year after year. They'll also have to hang my hat on.
It's true. Well, I don't know. To me, I have serious doubts.
Regular season's been competitive.
I've always had serious doubts, but I have serious doubts that the type of production in an offense from Tua, that's what we're gonna get. That's what we get. The only thing I can hope for is 2 things. One, that they can expand on the offense and that it can be a bevy of wealth of information that Tua can access to be able to give defenses different looks. So if they're in a game and this shit ain't working, they can pivot to something they were doing before last year, the year before, and that'll work on this defense and work that out.
Let me throw something out at you, Cap.
That's one thing.
Let me just throw something out.
Hold on, let me land, Mark.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Let me land.
Sorry.
The second thing I could hope for is that Tua expands, like can just get hot, and figure a way to find some type of personal routine that can get him to be in that zone and play in that zone. Because outside of that, I don't think there's anything physical more he could do. I don't think there's any more arm strength that can be harnessed. There's any more processing speeds. Like any of these intangibles that you'll have when you break down a quarterback in any situation, I feel like he's maxed himself out on all those things. Now, could he have just a year where he plays lights out? Yes, but that would be the anomaly in that. But for the most part, I think that this is, and it's consistent in those numbers if you can get him consistently. But I don't foresee him in any sort of way or form for us to lean on with his arm to win games. I think that that's a losing fucking game plan for this team until I see him do that otherwise. Because yes, he's done it. I can think of 2 in fucking 4 years. That's great. But give me the one in inclement weather with high winds that I just don't think he can do that. And that's okay, but I don't like it. It's fucking worrisome.
Well, let me ask a question now. Do you think that the Dolphins are too Tyreek-centric and they need to diversify the offense more?
I've been saying that for since the beginning of the season.
Yes. Yes, to a degree, yes.
Yes, obviously, but I don't. So dumb. Like, what are?
We just have to.
It's just kind of a
force
dumb
ourselves
thing.
to be more diversified.
Is it though? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, if Tyreek Hill's on my team, yes, I am going to be.
Yeah,
Tyreek
like I get what people are saying, but
are you Randy Moss centric? Yes.
Yeah. The fuck are you talking
No, but Tom
about?
Brady didn't always use Randy Moss, and he still used his tight ends.
That wasn't, again.
Gurkowski and what's his name?
Justin Jefferson centric.
Yeah, are you Justin Jefferson? Yeah, exactly. I get it. It doesn't bother me that much. I get it. I like Waddle, but guess what?
Yeah,
Waddle's
but
getting 1,000 yards a year too.
Don't have the
Like who are we talking about taking away the targets from Tyreek to spread out to? Braxton Berrios? I love Braxton Berrios, but are we seriously scheming up Braxton Berrios plays? Like it's I don't know. It's kind of redundant. Like who gives you the best chance?
Cap.
I think
Berrios is faster and he's much better hands.
Again, I agree with you on the H-hand. That was something that they did later in the year and had some.
Throw more passes to Waddle and give him. See, the more people you get involved, the more valuable a threat Tyreek is going to be. I remember the game. I remember the game that the Chiefs beat Tampa Bay in Tampa before the Super Bowl game. I think Tyreek ran 3 deep patterns and
he had like 200 yards in the first
3
half.
touchdowns.
Yeah.
In the first half, and it was like the most amazing thing I've ever seen. It was like crazy.
Again, I'm not saying you don't do that and yada yada yada, but again, that's why I'm hoping that's not what we're saying. I don't think there's any way you can be more one way or the other and say that data is going to be better than the latter. You feel me? So no, I'm not even focusing on that. I'm hoping that. Yeah, they have all these plays for Tyreek. Now they're all in your back pocket. Install plays for the other guys, and now run that as such. I think they'll overcorrect, and you will see, at some point in the season, a less Tyreek-centric type of deal. It'll be a little zig and a little zag. That's how they'll do it. That's obvious. It's going to be the progression of the offense. The third year, the offense too is learning so much.
I looked at Waddle,
really getting into the nitty gritty. I can see the headlines
in
now.
The second Jets game.
Huh?
Waddle had 150, 160 yards receiving, a couple
of all,
touchdowns.
That second Jets game,
he was burning the Jets corners.
But see, the thing was, we were fortunate because Robert Saleh decided not to follow him or shadow him with their best cornerback.
He embarrassed DJ Reed. He was embarrassing
because because the Sauce Gardner wasn't on them the whole time.
Give me a team in the
I don't
league that
know
can go ahead and
if that
afford
would
to
have
double
worked
Waddle and
consistently.
Hill.
Can you imagine if Mahomes had Waddle
tell
and
me
Hill?
a team in the league that
Oh
has the
my
personnel
God.
to be able to go ahead and double Waddle and Hill. They don't.
Can you imagine if
Nobody
Mahomes
has it.
had Waddle and Hill?
No.
You put Tyreek Hill back on the Chiefs with Jalen Waddle.
You don't. One of them could be double without the other one being double.
You can double one, you can't double the other. Then you can run A-Chain out of the backfield and you can kill people.
A-Chan to me makes this pitch a three-headed monster. That's why I like it. But again,
and God forbid if you guys ever smarten up and learn how to use a tight end. Jeez Louise.
Wow. I mean, look, they're.
Is there a better three? Is there a better in the entire? If you have A-Chan, Hill, and Waddle all up and running and healthy,
I don't know.
Is
Bengals
there a
got
better
good trio? Bengals got a pretty good
yeah, but they
trio.
don't have that kind of speed, that kind of
No, they don't have
dynamic.
that kind of dynamicness. No, I don't think so.
The Bengals will work you down the field 20 yards of play, but the Dolphins will burn you 70 yards, and they can do it multiple ways. Nobody has that.
But they can't. Here's the problem: they're not doing it in a way that I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's almost
They have to get the 1 seed, El Cap. That way, you know what I mean. That way, you avoid going to Cincinnati or going to fucking
losing that fucking
Pittsburgh.
Titans game was where the slippery slope began. I was like, dude, we have to get the 1 seed, and it was all but over. I was really excited in that Jets win that second one because I saw a team that how they played that game. That was a team that if they ran that type of football and then they followed up with that Dallas performance, I was like, all right, this is the type of team smash mouth that I think can win. Defense took some injuries and I just didn't.
They took a lot of injuries, El Cap.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
there was a
dude,
lot of fucking injuries, dude.
But okay, but
even
how many
Ramsey
times
got banged up at the
Not
end.
on offense.
How many times did I watch the defense through injuries bail out the offense? Well, I watched the offense be
the
healthy
defense literally
and do
took
jack
the
shit
injury
to help
excuse
my
away from the
defense.
offense.
It was just not complimentary football in the latter part of the season from the team. And to be quite honest, that Miami Dolphins offense doesn't play complimentary football in the later part of the game. In the fourth quarter, they struggle. If they're behind in the fourth quarter in points, it's terrible. It's terrible for that offense, especially out of the passing game. And that to me tells me that data in a large quantity is pointing out a simple fact. Late in games, the Dolphins, with all this passing attack, all these weapons, all this shit, if it's the fourth quarter and you got to win throwing the football, they're not getting it done and can't. And that is
really,
fucking.
We
can
used to
point
play
out
from
all
ahead.
the shit we want and talk anything and everything, but in the later in the season and in the fourth quarter, their numbers are significantly different, and that is bad. That is fucking terrible.
I think there's a lot of McDaniel issues in here because we go back to the regular season game in Buffalo last year.
I don't think it's a McDaniel issue. And you know what? There's a lot of people
execution.
pushing
You can
this
see that all
McDaniel
22.
issue. There's a lot of people pushing this
He's
McDaniel
calling the same
issue.
plays he called in Denver. Is no one executing against better defense and better talent?
Well, what I was saying is if you go back to that Buffalo regular
He's calling
season
the
game
same
last
play he
year,
called in that 70-point
if
game.
McDaniel runs the football late in the football game, the Dolphins win that football game. He chose to stop running the football, and I couldn't figure out why.
Which game?
No, he
the
didn't,
game
they
in
stacked the
Buffalo
box.
that you lost 32-29 that you should have won.
What game was that? Oh, the Titans
2 years
game.
ago.
Oh, 2 years
No, the
ago.
game
I'm
in
not
Buffalo
talking about
2 years ago where
Buffalo?
they lost 32-29.
Listen, the Dolphins didn't do dumb shit like that
No,
this year.
I beg to differ.
The Dolphins again.
They did do dumb shit that game. They should have run the football because they had the game.
But there was no guarantee because they ran the ball when it was tied up as a 0-0 game, and they did run the football. They didn't get nowhere with it. When the snow started coming down and they dictated run, and they did it.
Doesn't matter.
So you couldn't say that would have been the outcome.
Crypto, you're arguing for 2 years ago. I think we would all agree that Mike McDaniel, who self-admittedly said he got away from the run in spots he wish he didn't. I don't think that was
political.
This
that
year.
was political, Cap.
I don't even think it was
that
political.
was a placate. He fell right into the hands of the two.
I believe. Listen,
the two ears.
He served one on the platter. He served on the platter.
You might be something on that.
He placated right into their talking point.
You might have a little something on that soapbox, but really for last year or this past season, jeez, I don't think the getting away from the run game was the problem. It's when the game came tight And in passing situations, they weren't delivering. Sometimes it was just not being able to beat the defense, and other times it was not being able, the quarterback not getting it in place. It's just the whole offense failed. And more often than not, there was situations where I had hoped that my quarterback could bail me out with his arm, and he couldn't get it done. And that's just it. He doesn't have the fucking thread the needle type of throwing. And really, they know this. The offense knows it. They scheme it. So you can blame that part on coaching. You can blame it on, all the way down to from position coaching. I don't know. Blocking, any of that stuff. But that shit is not going to win. If you can't figure a way to make teams pay when they're selling out a blitz and you're not able to pick it up out of the passing game and make them pay, you're going to have a hard time winning late in football games, bro. It's just sucked.
That Titans game, I'm not a Dolphins fan, obviously, but I was frustrated. I'm not even
frustrating game.
Like, what the
Don't
fuck?
buy into Mike McDaniel's propaganda.
So you just watch, and it's something that I've seen the Dolphins do so many times as a fan. Back Tannehill times even. They hit this, they do decent in the beginning. They hit this stride, and then there's this, whether it's injuries derail the final quarter of the season, whether it's just getting exposed, the league is caught up to the gimmick, whatever the fuck excuse they want to feed me. It's why that it ends in failure with getting into the playoffs, and then the hope just being...
The injuries are almost kind of ridiculous, though. Like, how
so
every team has it.
sick of
It's unbelievable. The Dolphins' injuries at least the past 2 years that I can remember, is fucking insane, dude.
Nah.
It's insane. El Cap.
Josh, I could say
you
that
lost all 4 pass rushers, El Cap. All 4.
Yeah, but 2 of them was lost because the coach was padding stats, keeping them in a game that was unwinnable. That you can blame on McDaniel because he's out there trying to stat pass because they get another 2 or 3 sacks. He goes, we're leading the league in sacks. Look at our defense. Look what we're doing on defense. He's putting them and leaving them in the game like Riley Chubb, an unwinnable game in Baltimore that was totally out of reach. And he kept a guy in there because he's padding stats.
That was totally
self-inflicted. That was self-inflicted. So I don't even want to hear the excuse narrative because with the injury, because that was self-inflicted.
Crypto,
like even though the Bills said
that's the only thing you can truly blame on McDaniel because he got caught with his hand caught in the cookie jar.
We got that, and maybe that was Fangio.
That happened to Jason Taylor, not Jason Taylor.
Well, crypto, they're blaming that on
in the Jets game. He padded stats against the Jets for crying out loud.
They're blaming the padding of the stats and those injuries on Fangio doing that. That's what the blame is now. You heard that, right?
Wait, what happened?
I ain't. You know, I ain't buying that.
You mean Fangio was
I'm
keeping?
not falling for the banana in the tailpipe.
Fangio
he was keeping him out there on purpose.
Chubb out there and stuff like that, and that's a Fangio call. That's the word on the street right now.
Oh yeah, because he's the head coach. I got it.
Well, he does call the defense, so Mike McDaniel doesn't. I mean,
he only calls defensive plays, but Mike McDaniel get to say who's freaking going to stay in the game. Who is he going to pull, starters or not?
I'm not saying that the blame doesn't always...
That was weird. You know what was weird about that? Like, it's not necessarily weird that Fangio left. I mean, it happens. It was really weird that, like, 2 days later, Jaworski came to the rescue and tried to reshape the narrative. That was weird.
You're right.
Don't you think that's... You know what I mean? Like, where did that come from?
Weird. No, that was called protecting your ass.
There's a story that said
he saw what happened with Flores and he tried to get out ahead of it. And that was Fangio saying, "I'm gonna teach them a lesson for trying to slander me on my way out the door."
Yeah.
Well, listen. Also,
that was him being proactive.
Here's the
That's
deal.
What that was
now.
about.
Here's the deal right now. What I can see.
Crypto, you know what I mean?
Whether or not this.
Yeah, he saw what happened to Flores.
Whether or not this is a smear campaign or Jaworski's trying to get out in front of it or all this stuff, it does seem to be having an effect on the Miami Dolphins coaching search for defensive coordinator. I believe. Like, are they just now? Of course, they're spinning it as, oh, they're doing their due diligence. Doing their due diligence. Shake, I don't even know who a lot of these fucking guys are. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like we're scrumming around and they're going to pitch it. Oh, here's the next Mike McDaniels superstar fucking defensive guy. Like, I don't know, man. I'm going to feel real. No offense to Anthony Campanelli. No offense to any of the guys that are out there. Like, but to me, getting a fucking old head like Fangio, everything other than that is going to be a downgrade. Now, okay, Leslie Frazier, I would be pretty stoked to have him, but am I really going to say he's better than Fangio? I don't know. They kind of are equal in that way. Other than that, he just lost his job with the Bills for not being able to perform in the fucking playoffs and getting the axe. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel good about it in any way, shape, and form. And fuck, dude.
Yeah, but the head coach
Listen,
makes
I
the
don't
final
feel
personnel
good about
decision
this.
on who sits and starts throughout the game, regardless of his coordinators calling plays.
What's up,
remember
Shake?
this? When we were looking for offensive coordinators.
But Jermaine don't know football.
I know he doesn't, but listen, I know we're looking for offensive coordinators all the way into the Senior Bowl, to after the Senior Bowl. And you know what happened? We went co-offensive coordinators. I'm telling you, co-defensive coordinators.
Well, Shake, you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Coordinators.
You're picking up what I'm putting down, Shake. Yeah. And my
I don't
point
know.
is,
we're going to be restarting on defense, Cap.
If the Dolphins,
we just cemented another Bills division title for the next 4
Dolphins
seasons.
Hire their next defensive coordinator, and it's fucking what's his face Staley or an internal hire. If it's Staley or an internal hire, I'm going to take it as Mike McDaniel can't fucking build a defense. Yeah. That's what I'm going to take it at. Mike McDaniel, you have to. You have to.
Yeah, you have to at that point.
They're not going to hire
Staley. That'll be 3 different coordinators in the last 3 years.
And what does that sound like, Crypto? What does that sound like, Crypto?
He can't build a staff. He can't build a coaching staff.
Not on
defense. You got to give him that same energy. Yeah.
Not on defense.
Got to use that same. Got to use that same energy. Can't build a coaching staff.
That's that same motherfucking energy.
Got to give him that same.
Crypto. That's what I'm trying to say.
Can't build a defensive coaching staff. So should he be canned for it? You know.
Now I heard a rumor, and maybe I'll tell you guys backstage. But I heard a rumor about who the Dolphins have been in contact with and looking at. I'll tell you guys later. But that's some other shit. But
whoever's the next defensive coordinator, Cap, we got to figure out what dirt are we going to pull up on him, because I'm going to get out ahead of it 12 months in advance. I'm going to already start digging up dirt on the next defensive coordinator.
And listen, I already know.
That's what I'm going to do.
Listen, there's reports that Cam Smith told Mike McDaniel, you can't talk to people that way.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. we got to put up all the dirt on the next defensive coordinator so we can get out ahead of it.
I'm thinking that, what was Godsey and Studsville's fucking problem? They said they had no clear vision or some shit like that. Yeah. That's what'll happen. That's what we'll blame on the defense, not a clear vision.
Yeah.
It was just, like Boyer, it was just too much.
I always get nervous. I always get nervous when people start using like slogans and cliches and stuff. That's when it's time to get nervous.
Yep. Once they have those sayings come out, those buzzwords,
that's when you know you're about to be laid off.
We said this about Fangio if it didn't work out. That's the irony
right now.
You're about to get laid off.
You're about to get fucking railroaded.
You want to know the irony, Cap? You want to know the irony, Cap? We said that was going to happen to Fangio once he gets canned. We said it's going to happen to every coordinator once they get. We said this a year ago today.
Well, Crypto, if you remember, we said. What we said was
they was going to dig up dirt on his way out the door.
No, what we were saying is that if fucking the Dolphins' offense shits the bed and Fangio's defense steps up, that story will come around shitting on Mike McDaniel and Fangio could be in line for the job. Remember, we thought it was going to be on the flip side, but here it is. Here's the key.
But no, they got it ready for McDaniel too. It's already prepared.
Here's the bad look. Here's the bad look in the stain on the Miami Dolphins organization that is getting figured out in the league, is that if you get hired by the Dolphins as a coordinator, or a head coach and then they fire you, they're going to smear you on your way out the door.
That's
They're
the
not
problem.
just going to fire you for they're not just going to fire you for performance issues. They are fucking smearing you, saying they didn't get along, they didn't do this, the players in the back, the culture, all this other shit. This is a bad look for the Dolphins organization.
It's a toxic environment.
It's showing, and you know what?
Yeah, Josh.
I'm sorry, but these tight knit clubs, are looking. These guys are all clicked up and shit. You know, they get buddy. A couple of interns start at fucking Green Bay, and then a few go here, and they link up with some guys in Tampa and shit. Like next thing you know, they get on fucking Washington, and they're all fucking buddying up, and they're the next coming of fucking McVay and all that shit. You know, they're the next little crew, and it's a clicked up business for certain. My point is that these people are looking and seeing how the Dolphins are treating this shit, and it's gonna be bad. And they're talking about that old way, the old school way of Fangio and Bill Belichick. That stuff isn't gonna fly anymore. And yeah, maybe they're right. Maybe that's the way. But dude, the way the Dolphins are shitting on their fires like that. Maybe that's why a Staley doesn't come here. Not that I want Staley, but I'm just saying,
who
and by the way,
is doing that?
Talking about co-defensive coordinators makes me want to pour a strong.
Well, you want to know who does that? You want to know who I've seen do that forever? The Jets did that.
Yes,
forever.
Yes.
The Jets have they're doing it right now.
Yeah,
they're doing it right now.
Yeah.
They do that shit forever, and they have. And the Dolphins used to not necessarily do that so much. Like, okay, the fans.
You think it's a Ross? Is it a Ross problem?
Well, I mean, he's from New York, isn't he? I mean, he says he's from Michigan and he's from Miami and he's from fucking,
You never
England.
hear this stuff coming out of the Steelers, though. You know, the Steelers, like, you never hear this toxic shit coming out of the Steelers, though, Cap.
No, and like even when the fucking Steelers guy goes to jail or some shit, you don't hear none of that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just being real. Like, there's a loose lip sinking ships in the Dolphins organization right now.
Bingo.
Yeah. And it's creating, yes, a toxic atmosphere, but I'm worried that it's stopping us from, I don't know, dude. Like, I mean, dude, it's just been one fucking bullshit Dolphins fucking bullshit thing after another, bro. It's pissing me off.
Well, if you don't trust the person you're working for, that's what fosters that type of environment, that biting the ankles. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I don't know what the fuck's going on in that bitch, but it to me, it looks like the Dolphins offense or Dolphins team when they're losing. We're down 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. I'm looking for someone to step up and say, I'm the fucking leader of this team, and I don't see it. And I'm not seeing that in my front office. I'm not seeing it. It seems like everybody's worried about losing their job and trying not to get the blame rather than step out in front and say, I'm going to do this. And you know what? It's scary to be the leader. Because if you fail, then you're the one that's gonna have to answer all the reasons for failure. But that's what makes a motherfucking leader. The guy who will take the slings and arrows for everyone. Where the fuck is that guy at? Where's that guy at? And you gotta not only take the slings and arrows, but you gotta be the one that at the bottom line is gonna be real. You gotta call motherfuckers out, not doing it in a way that pisses everyone off. It's gotta be effectively, but also respected, man. And that goes with every type of team, anything in the world when you work with people. If there's no leadership, then you have too much cooks in the kitchen and you ain't getting no good tasting food, god damn it.
Shake. Come on. Everybody. Everybody hold their horses real quick. Please. Can we all do this? Because we've been roaring because of the fact that we ended our regular season, I would say, I mean, not horrifically, but it is horrific because we gave up the conference, we gave up the division, right? So I'll go with that. So I'm just going to start there, move forward here, and I'm going to say this going forward here is not for nothing. man, everybody, we've been hearing the screams from every fan, all the bullshit going about, all the stuff that we've been talking too much and social media, all the bullshit there. I concur. It's a lot. It's too much, and it needs to fucking stop. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. That's for damn sure. That needs to get dodged.
Well, that ain't going nowhere,
and drive
homie.
a
So
Chevy
they're
instead.
always gonna
So
be.
here's
There's
what I'm
always gonna
saying.
be a counter argument.
My thing is, man, I'm just sitting here scratching my head, going like, what the hell is our plan? Too much going on. Cap is all screwed up. We done with this and that and the other. No, listen, I don't want to hear that. Don't want to hear that nonsense anymore from anybody putting out Dolphins content. I'm sick of anybody doing it, and I ain't gonna name names. Stop putting that out there. Just let's be positive. So, where I'm going now. Here's where
Wait a
I'm
minute.
going.
What did I miss?
All right.
What is he talking about?
I feel like that we do still have an opportunity in front of us. The best DC we can get. Okay, let's start there because we got to get the DC because the players won't play unless we get that DC. And all the bullshit we've been hearing about, everybody running their mouths and all that bullshit. Yeah. Well, you don't think the players run their mouths on other teams? Hell yeah, they do. They just don't put it out there on social media. It's a free world now. They just put it out there. They're gonna put it out there. They had they're legally obliged to do it. So we can't stop that. Nobody can stop that. So let that play. That's gonna happen. Every team is gonna do it. I do, as a matter of fact, the only one I liked that was put out was Jalen Holland. I like the fact that Jalen said, "What, you're going to talk smack about a team that you lost to? Don't be that guy." I actually liked that one. That was the only one of them all that I liked. I liked that. Other than that, yeah, we got to put the nonsense out of the air. And the one thing I'm worried about, to be honest with you, is because of Fangio does have connects everywhere in the league. Yeah, that might be a persuasion not to come here.
That's why I said when Jaworski
is convinced.
When Jaworski,
DC,
yeah.
As a matter of fact, more than a DC. How many coaches are we losing? He's got to convince every new hire that won't happen again. And how he's going to convince them? That means he's got to get a hold of these players, and not just on offense, but on defense. Because we know, for a matter of fact, if you look at everybody who complained, they're all second. They're all corners, and they're all safeties. Most of them, and most of every player was a safety or corner. So that's got to be the direction. And that's what led me into another thought.
You've been hitting the sauce, haven't you?
I know Fangio was a DC, but the CB coach was also being interviewed for a DC job. How is that possible if these guys are all talking smack? So that led me to, we're bringing him back, possibility. So we need to figure that shit out, get our DC situated, find out what's going on. I think the Staley conversation is almost 100% legit. I would do that. In addition to that, I would say that and the cap.
Hey, Cap, he's calling you out.
Oh, did I lose you?
I'm listening.
The salary cap is it's malleable, man. You can always do stuff to get salary cap room.
Yeah, I look.
People say that every year. Salary cap.
But again, I've seen teams do all kinds of bullshit. I just don't want to fucking. Here's what I don't like is that we're in a situation where you're going to take losses. That's for certain. We're going to take
Would you cut me
losses.
off?
We're going to take losses.
Steve Malloy, I'm going with the latter.
I would. I don't know. Fuck it. Now I'm off topic. Lost it. I'm just worried about how this team's going to be able to pivot because to me things lined up perfectly outside of the injuries for the Dolphins this year. You know, a lot of a thing no one's talking about. Yeah, we did good in all these offensive stats and everything like that, and teams that we faced, some were good, some weren't, and yada yada yada. But look at all the teams that had to overcome injuries or failed because of injuries that lost their starting quarterbacks this year. You know what I'm saying? All those starting quarterbacks are coming back. All those teams are going to be better because of it. There's not a team. What's up?
You know what? The thing about, like, I'm not concerned. Like, I think the Dolphins are real talented. You know how I feel about Tua and
Sure.
all that. The thing that bothers me or worries me about the Dolphins is it is the front office and the ownership, because like it's like you said, like Fangio leaves, all this shit comes out. Obviously, we know about the Flores. It to me, it's almost like there's people inside that organization. Maybe it's not Ross. Maybe Ross doesn't have a good finger on the pulse of what's going on around the people with the people around him. But dude, obviously, there's a lot of trust issues going on.
So I'll give you an instance, right? This is nothing new in Miami, now that I think about it. You know, beat writers like Omar Kelly, shout out to the homie, and other people like it, they're always getting some juicy story.
Right.
And it usually is on the cusp of players being mad, and, you know, that's how it gets out. And it sneaks out, you know, all the way back to when, you know, there was defensive players that didn't believe in Tua on the team and really liked Flores. And there's these divides that happen. It's funny because, like, everyone said that it was Kyle Van Noy. He said it wasn't, but I find it funny that he's gone. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He could say it wasn't him all he wants, but I don't think the team got rid of him and not other people. And it wasn't him. It's just fucking weird. A guy who was under a big contract, who, you know, still plays decent football. Like, fuck, he was on the Ravens not that long ago. But anyhow, yeah, there's this...
Yeah, you want got that stupid penalty that started KC to get that last field goal.
Does Chris Greer come from like affluence or anything? Is he from like a politician's family or?
His dad's Bobby Greer, who was a lead scout for the Patriots for a long time, but now Bobby Greer's been with the Dolphins for some time now. So there is some kind of,
because I've always looked at the Greer situation. Not that he's like a terrible GM. He's made some good picks, but like, kind of like tell me if I'm off here. It's like there's almost kind of like a snootiness.
Oh no, he's definitely from the gated community.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
And I wonder if that
I don't know
rubs people the wrong way in the organization. You know what I mean?
It's weird because like some of Chris Greer's best picks are these weird, obscure picks in the middling rounds. You know, and it has been for a long time. Back to when he was a scout, the guys he would scout. I'll give you a perfect example of a guy I know Chris Greer scouted and got on the football team. Bobby McCain. You guys remember Bobby McCain?
The corner,
fifth rounder, you know, just a lockdown, good fucking player. Is he a superstar? No. Was he worth every dime we paid him? And wherever he went and got paid, he was worth every dime they paid him too. He was a solid football player. But that's kind of like, to me, I had hoped that that's what he can kind of get. And if you look at Christian Wilkins, that's a perfect example. Christian Wilkins, solid football player. Is he the most elite? No. Is he worth whatever he's getting paid? You're fucking right. You know what I'm saying? Is he worth the most pay? For sure. No, he's not going to be the most paid guy in his position because he's not that. But is he going to be worth whatever he's going to get and play to it? Is it going to be balanced as you don't lose? Sure. I agree with that. But what I saw Chris Greer do that I was kind of happy about is that he went ahead and decided to go ahead and buy the players he couldn't knock out of the park in the draft, a la Jalen Ramsey, a la Tyreek Hill,
Bradley Chubb, yeah.
Bradley Chubb, things like that, which to me, you knocked both picks out of the park with Phillips and Waddle. Those were my top 2 picks. They picked them exactly where I wanted them to, and it was fucking awesome. But, still, will Jalen Phillips and Waddle be the best in the league? I don't know. I don't see Bosa, but then again, I do look at Phillips and think that, God, dude, that guy, if it ever just all clicked, no one could stop him. He's a phenom. Same thing with Jalen Waddle too. Here's the thing. I don't know how positionally and manipulating the cap and everything he's done as a GM, what other he could do any better. I don't think he's got any better in him. I don't think he's going to fucking scout and pick the steal of the fucking draft in the first round. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's going to fucking crush one out of the fucking park with a Bosa pick. You know what I'm saying? That the Steelers picking the Watt brother, that was a fucking smack out of the park. Remember how many people passed up on that guy? That was fucking nuts in retrospect. You know what I'm saying? You look at what they got out of that guy for where they pick him like 19th or something dumb as fuck like that. The guy was the steal of the. I don't see Chris Greer making one of those picks. So I don't see how we can get but I don't know, man.
Greer
He'll pick up a nose. He'll pick up a long snapper in the
kind of
first
like
round.
Greer, and kind of like my quarterback. What I got out of him this year, I can't envision how I can get any more out of my general manager, or like I am maxed out on my quarterback's ability and what I'm going to get from him, and my general manager, and I just don't know where it can get better. The one thing I was gonna kind of roll into next year and bank on is that Fangio, old timer, did great with this defense, healthy, click it, maybe it all fucking comes together. Oh wait, no, we're firing Fangio. So now I'm like, fuck, I got a swift kick in the nuts. I got a swift kick in the nuts, dude. Because now what now? And I'm like, oh, Fangio didn't get along with players. I don't give a fuck if every player motherfucked him and had dartboards throwing fucking darts at his face every day. As long as they were playing how they played at the end of the year while being injured but then healthy, I don't give a fuck. So to me, it's just
rather have the coach than the player.
I mean, you're not supposed to. I mean, you're not really supposed to get along and be friends with your boss.
No, bro. No. Why do you think drill sergeants fucking scream at you in the fucking military? It's so when the bombs are popping off, you hear me and me only, fucko. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
And what happens is then
when the bombs start popping off, motherfuckers ain't here. Guess what? When the bombs were popping off for the defense and the shit got real as fuck and guys are going down, defense got the job done. Bombs started popping off on the offense. Everyone's looking for their friends. Oh man, what do we do? I don't want to be accountable for being,
I mean, what does Javon Holland think Fangio's going to come over and like cook pizza rolls with him and smoke a doobie? Like, I don't
Yeah, to make sure that they have easy access to sex and drugs. Sex and drugs is what's on their mind.
Bring a bunch of girls over. Like, I don't understand what does Javon Holland think is going to. I don't get it.
It's coming down.
Yeah, it has.
It's been a hot minute since I got to speak to you directly about this, and I'm listening to you talk about how you're kind of fed up with, your quarterback. You're maxed out at the quarterback's ability and also maxed out with your GM's abilities. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that is Chris Greer's flaw, that he's not strong enough to just be like, this isn't working and actually quit on the project and go a different direction, like a 49ers GM that's now playing in a Super Bowl? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Purdy?
Well, not just with Brock Purdy. Lynch, as GM, has given players away, made overpaid deals. Gave us what, 3 first-round picks or something like that.
Yep, and it didn't work out, and they still figured it out.
And they still figure it out. Whereas our GM, hold on, because I got blasted the other night because I'm saying that my biggest concern is our GM, because most of these issues that we've had this season, it falls on Chris Greer's lap. right? Chris Greer, yeah, he makes a out of nowhere crazy deal, and really, if you really look at what, we kind of overpaid for the deals that we've made, even though we're getting a superstar player. But when it comes down to it, he never really puts together the proper personnel for the type of scheme that he's trying to run here. And I'll give you an example. If you look at Vic Fangio's defenses that he's had over the years when he was like number 1, number 2 in the league for defense, if you look at the schematic of that defense and the style of players and even the prototypical defensive lineman he had on that team, it don't match what we have
no, it
here.
Doesn't.
It's like you're trying to put a square. It's like trying to put a square through a triangle. That's what he's trying to do over and over again. And at some point, you have to have the balls to be like, you know what? This isn't working, and start over. And that's what the 49ers have balls to do.
Zone with all our
RGM
man corners. Playing zone with all our man corners, putting all the pressure on the safeties. Even I agree with you there. But, I mean, look, I don't know. Again, I don't think again, this comes down to a leadership thing. No one wants to be the leader because the Dolphins have already proven when you got that C on your chest, chances are you're the first guy with the head on the chopping block. And it's when shit's going downhill, the leader's the guy who's got to step up, and it's either going to be because of him or it's going to not be because of him, and that's who gets the blame. And I just don't think the GM will ever put his head in the chopping block because he's willing to lay it all out. And I don't think the quarterback is going to do that either. And I don't think Tyreek's doing it. I don't think the fucking coach doing it. It just seems like everyone's worried about the other shoe to drop or some shit, and they're just going to hope that either luck comes their way or that's pretty much it. Like we're riding on a luck. Is Chris Greer going to make a first-round pick and pick a tackle that's the fucking, best tackle like Laramie Tunsil? Is that are we going to get lucky like that? I don't know. Is fucking Tua going to, just be on one in, the final stretch of the season, just feeling himself, feeling as healthy as he ever felt, strong as he ever felt, and is dialed in, and we luck out in that. To me, that's kind of all we got, dog. It fucking sucks.
I hear you. For me, it's just like you got to be ballsy enough to make the big decision to start over and just like, you know what, I'm going to take the L, but I'm going to make it better because this is how I'm going to fix it. And RGM doesn't do that. They keep it's like, trust the process, trust the process, trust the process. And now what happens? We're at the end of the season. We're out of the playoffs. It's like, okay, well, this is the goal. Now I'm telling everybody what the goal is. Well, why didn't you have a goal? And why didn't you actually do something about it last season? That's what it's like, a revolving door over and over again.
The bottom line is the goal is to win a Super Bowl.
Reality is most of this defense, if you really look at it outside of not Javon Holland, but outside of what's his name, the Ramsey, really this is Flores' defense, bro. They're trying to make Vic Fangio run, and
now you're not wrong about that. You're not wrong about that.
Bro. That's the fact, and that's what I'm saying.
That was the original plan.
It's basically like telling Vic Fangio, okay, Fangio, here's a Pinto, but I want you to race this like this is a Maserati or something. That's basically what they're trying to have him do, and it don't work that way.
Honestly, think about this too. Not only
give me the Mini Cooper.
Not only are these most of Flores' players, but this is most of Flores' coaching staff.
That's true.
Yeah, that's part of it too. That's my whole point on this. That I feel that what happened this season. I know people want to blame offensive calls, or they want to blame Tua, or they want to blame this or that or the other. Most of the issues that we have were due to personnel, and whose fault is that? Chris Greer.
See, but Ali, why didn't they just keep Boyer then? That's what I don't. I thought Boyer did an outstanding job.
I think so too.
Why not just keep?
Between you and
I thought Boyer could have done better in the second
top
year.
10 defense in the last part of December.
I'm not trying to start up any issue with our former coach or anything or any type of conspiracy theory, but I think Boyer was one of the big players that was part of the whole Flores fiasco, so they wanted to separate from him anyway.
Also, look, it was somebody had to fall on the. Someone had to be the sacrificial lamb. Here's what I feel like. Someone had to be the sacrificial lamb last year, and that was Boyer. And this year, it was gonna be Fangio, and Fangio didn't want to take the licks and said, "Fuck y'all, I'm outie." That's
why isn't the focus just football though? Like, what do you like?
Well, because you know why? Because the Dolphins organization. Here's what I think. Here's what I really think. The Dolphins fans, the Dolphins players who are really involved in always in South Florida, and that's on social media, that's on fucking everything, that's amongst the community, that's with the writers, that's with fucking everything. And then all this stuff to our owner, there has to be an answer to these questions. So what went wrong, who, where, why, and so they just kind of zone in somewhere to put all this rather than someone stepping out in front and saying, we failed, we fucked up, we're getting it right, we have a plan, and do it. No, they're gonna figure a way to deflect everything on something so everyone else can kind of move out of the way of all the shit.
And see, it's
a bitch move, dog. It's a bitch move.
And here's why the bitch move, talking about the bitch move. Well, listen to this. If you really look at two major games this season, they were lost in special teams. You had the what was it, the punt return or kickoff return from the Bills game that lost us the division, right? And then look at what I think the same. I think the same. No, what do you mean not true?
Hey, I ain't going there.
Because it was a tie game.
No, it doesn't matter. That's what. Okay, all right, crypto. If you look at it. If you just look at it,
we know special teams suck, but that's not the reason why we lost.
Hold on. Let me finish, please. One at a time. Please let me land. If you look at the special teams in that game and the fact that, one, we missed the field goal, and two, you look at the fact that they were able to run all the way back for a touchdown on us, that changed the momentum of that game. And if that field goal was made, we would have won that game. Right, that's number one.
But hold on, Ollie. I still think the defense. The defense brought the momentum back.
There, please. I'm not done there. Okay. You go look at the Kansas City game again. Miscues on special teams. You look. Even if you look at the Tennessee game, you can see miscues that caused Tennessee to have better field advantage at times. There are games that we lost.
Ali, I will agree with you in this take. Right? Because in both those instances, KC and in Buffalo, you saw where after those blunders on special teams, the offense didn't have something.
Didn't do nothing.
On their next time around. It changed the momentum offensively because I saw the defense in both those games fight back. To me, again, it goes back to the core issue I was just talking about. Leadership. Where's the leadership at? Now, I didn't have one solo leader on defense. It was a collective for sure, but that they didn't play that way on offense, and there certainly isn't someone standing up on offense or on defense as the guy that's going to say something and do something and lead the team back. Say, listen, this is it. I don't give a shit that we're down 17 points and it's the end of the third quarter. We are fighting back and turn this around. You know what I'm saying? I don't see that guy.
El Cap, you remind me why I made the point about the special teams in the first place. The only reason that you didn't actually can him for those two games is because who has a bigger, who puts up bigger smoke to hide things? Fangio or the special teams coordinator?
Sure, of course. Listen, Crossman
Fangio
for
puts
sure.
up the bigger smoke.
Honestly,
That's
yes.
why-
I think we all agree. Crossman. If anyone should have lost their job, it should have been Crossman. I get that. Yeah, Sanders got put
No,
back
he should have
together.
got an extension and a bonus.
No.
Jason Sanders won the Dallas game for us off 5 field goals,
I got
and 3
you,
of them was over 50.
But Crossman's entirety
We
of
lose
his
that
tenure,
game. We missed it. We lose that game. We're not even in the playoffs because we're 10-7, and we lose the tiebreaker
get
to
it, but listen,
freaking another team.
Again, Crypto, Sanders and Bailey and hitting field goals is a little different. Crossman's getting more judged on his kickoffs and punts and shit. You know that. And I agree. It was lackluster and there was miscues. There was all kinds of shit. But whatever. If I was going to say Fangio or Crossman loses his job, it's Crossman 10 out of 10 times more than Fangio if we're going to measure the two. I'm not saying that Crossman I don't say it affects us either which way, Ali.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with your point that, yeah, there was momentum loss. I would counter that point and say, you're the fucking offense. You got to do something. The defense is trying to fight back.
I don't agree. I don't disagree with that. It's just
I know that
the momentum was lost in both games due to this special teams blunder. That's
again,
if that's
if there was a leader,
I'm willing to bet.
Leader.
I'm willing to bet if somehow we could go back and not let that run back happen, that game may have had a different outcome. That's the big question.
So
but that's only one game.
Here's something that I seen the Dolphins do, and this is what kind of befuddles me a little bit. All right, and I don't care that people are gonna be mad because I'm gonna talk about Flores. I don't give a fuck. Fuck y'all. I didn't agree with his tactics, and there was no longevity in his game plan, and I think he knew that. But I've watched in games that you're behind. It's the game ain't over, but you ain't scoring on offense, and I've watched him put it in the hands of his defense because he knew he was gonna have plays made because of that defense scoring touchdowns and shit. Not that he was going to get a touchdown, but he was just hoping for this field position battle to be won through the defense, and they stepped up. And I saw a defense not able to do that, partly because of injuries, but also probably in some game plan stuff, which is a knock on Fangio in that way. But I didn't see the offense with the coach that replaced the coach that was doing it with his defense, with the quarterback, with the weapons, with health, doing what that other coach did with the defense in certain games while that offensive player couldn't get done. You see what I'm saying? That's kind of the weird dynamic here. Now, Ali, if you're telling me they're going to go get a more man type of defense to couple with here and go with the original plan that I know that Chris Greer was trying to get from the jump, which is he wanted to hire Brian Flores as the head coach and the defensive coordinator and get his offensive coordinator to be Mike McDaniel. That was the original day one plan. So, I don't know. I'm not saying they're going to go get Brian Flores, but that would be sick. But if they can get someone to run a Brian Flores style defense, I
don't know what they're going to do, bro. I really don't know.
I say bring Frazier here and Leslie Frazier and
Frazier is the better one out of the people I've seen. They were able to talk to.
He's the top of the list for me because I want that Minnesota defense he was coaching.
Personally, if you really are all in, if you're really all in, and I know he was here at one point, but I would go get because I don't think he got a head coaching job, but I'd get the defensive coordinator from Dallas. In a heartbeat. I'd pay him whatever he wants. He wants more than McDaniel. I don't care. Pay him.
All right. Now, if you're saying go get Dan Quinn, I'm bad at that.
That's what I'm saying.
Quinn.
Go get
I like
him
how Dan Quinn uses his
Pay him.
linebackers, bro. I like how Dan Quinn uses his linebackers.
He didn't get a head coaching job for Seattle because I think they went with the defensive coordinator of the Ravens. So
I don't think Dan Quinn's going anywhere, dog. Dan Quinn ain't going nowhere. He's waiting for that.
Another defensive coordinator in 3 years.
To my understanding, Mike McCarthy's on the shortest of leashes, and if he gets fired, it's Dan Quinn's job.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. I'm just thinking about like who would I get, and I would offer him the Godfather offer, whatever that would be.
I
Dan
agree.
Quinn is like top of my list, to be honest.
Dan Quinn would be sick. I just don't think it's. I don't think it's in the cards.
It wouldn't happen, bro. It wouldn't. If he's waiting to be the next head coach of Dallas, then it's not going to happen. I get it. But my point is,
you really
that's
think
what
you think Dallas would hire Dan Quinn as a head coach?
Ollie, remember this? Mike McDaniel was on his staff in Atlanta.
Dan Quinn was? Yeah.
Mike McDaniel was on Dan Quinn's staff when he worked for Atlanta. Remember?
Yeah.
Dan
there
Quinn
is
was
some
the head coach
connection there. There is some
That's
connection.
when, and that's when Shanahan. That's when they had that whole fucking run there with Matty Ice.
For the Super Bowl, yeah.
Yep.
Right?
mhm.
Yeah. I don't know what we're gonna do, bro.
So
I
to
really
me,
don't.
I've got somebody on my wish list, but it's something I'm keeping quiet because I heard some shit. I heard some rumors that I'm keeping quiet. So
I'm starting to feel like Sting. I'm ever losing my faith.
Co-defensive coordinators, baby. That's the play right there.
That's the plan, Shake. It's going to be Anthony Campanelli and El Capitan coaching the coaches. Look at the coaching the defense. Look at that.
Yeah.
I got the call. That was the rumor, guys. I spoiled it. My fault.
What about what happened
What
to
about
the
Jim
guy
Schwartz?
from-
What about Jim Schwartz?
Man, Schwartz be with you.
Hire Parcells.
What happened to the guy from the Panthers that everybody wanted?
Oh, they blocked his thing and
They said no. They don't even have a head coach yet.
That's a weird
I think he's still under contract with them though. So I know that the Ravens.
I say bring back Parcells.
I know the Ravens lost the coach to Seattle, but they also lost. They just lost another guy too. Their DB coach. Ravens are getting picked dry right now. But they've always seemed to bounce back. They get fucking their defenses picked dry every now and again. Never get their offense picked dry.
Belichick, bring in Belichick as a DC.
No.
Yeah. We should go for the top.
He needs a job.
I'll tell you what.
Go for the gold.
I would totally bring in Belichick because it's a win-win for me personally. Because A, if it works out, it would be great. And then I'll rub it in the Patriots' faces. B, if he doesn't work out and the Dolphins fire him, I'll be totally full tilt front and center on the smear campaign that the Dolphins will put together, just like always. I'll be right. I'm like, he was showing his wiener to the girls in the fucking office. I don't give a fuck, dude. Dude, I will fuck this dude. He was going around with a thing of baby oil, asking for massages. It was weird. I will go full tilt on him.
He was sponsored by the one that Robert Kraft was in.
I swear to God, I came into the office at like 4:00 in the morning. I left my laptop there, and he was wearing a wig and a dress, cleaning out the women's bathroom. It freaked me out.
He was letting his dog make draft picks.
Yeah, I could really get fucking crazy, dog. Like,
what about Dirty Sanchez's?
Yep.
I don't know how old he is. Mike Singletary. I don't know if he wasn't he a defensive coordinator?
Yeah.
Well, he was with the 49ers for a hot minute, wasn't he?
Years ago. I've always liked Mike Singletary. He's up there in age, though.
He said he had a meeting with Christian Wilkins saying he's going to teach him how to grab Josh Wieners properly.
Oh, shit.
Oh, my God.
Damn, Shake.
Gross.
Damn.
That was so weird that Christian Wilkins did that to Josh Allen. And then after the game, he hugged Josh Allen. It's just bizarre, dude.
Just wanted to make sure
there's something weird going on there, dude.
I don't know. Maybe he's trying to make sure the genitalia was there.
There's something weird going on there.
They got a little something going on, I think. I think Christian Wilkins comes over to Josh Allen's house in the summer times, and Josh Allen plays the cuck for his old lady while Christian Wilkins does the dirty. That's it. See, I'll take any story and I'll create a whole fucking scene. I'll create a whole beautiful.
Steven Ross is videotaping
it. Yeah. Are you saying they're playing Power Rangers together?
Yeah, they play Power Rangers together. They're finna power each other's Ranger. I'm the red one. No, you are. So All right, I'm out of here, boys. I'm gonna do a live show tomorrow, so
Yeah, for sure.
we'll try this
Going
whole
live
thing
tomorrow?
out. Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna close this up anyway. So
Oh, word up.
yeah.
Well, then I'll hang back. Close this bitch up, then shake on.
Yeah, I got
you
to
fools
shake
backstage.
after the show. I got to
I'll
talk
talk
to
to
you.
you guys backstage.
All right, man. No problem, man. And Kevin Lee, shout out to Kevin Lee. You're doing God's work, talking shit about Buffalo. I
I love
appreciate
Kevin
that.
Lee.
We need more like you.
Kevin Lee, a real one.
But Greg, Jermaine, Crypto's best friend, Sea Devil,
2 years equals 2
Steve
playoffs.
Malloy,
How many wins
Sal
does
Bundy.
Sea-Devil?
Appreciate everybody who showed
Villain,
up
Steve,
and showed the
Sea
show,
Boys.
showed us some love, man. And like I said, I keep forgetting. I have a notepad now. This Friday, I will be doing the Cooking Folk apron. I got to talk to you about that as well. We're gonna be giving that away. Courtesy of
Michael K.
Michael K. And don't forget, Stephen D will be the special guest for Insomnia, man. Drive time Friday at 6:00. We're gonna open this up and we're gonna air it out, baby. How we always do. TFTG style, baby.
Word up.
Fins up, guys. Peace.
Fins up.
Yeah, fins up, everybody.